Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning games all under $20. I'm your host, Midnight Vesper, and if you're new here, well, here's how this works. For more current/digital games, we'll be using stores like GOG, itch.io, Epic, Ubisoft, etc., to look at the list/MSRP price. For retro games, we'll be using a wide assortment of price charting websites looking at the loose price of the game. We do not count any sales or discounts as they vary from time of purchase. Couple announcements before we get into this. Do not forget, Summer Games Done Quick 2023 is coming up May 28th through June 4th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you're interested in attending the event, registration is now open until May 3rd. Head on over to gamesdonequick.com for more information. And of course, your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits cheered on the Games Done Quick's channel. Twitch channel helps support Games Done Quick hotfix. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily speedrunning content. It's just all here on this piece of paper, and it happens though. Speaking of things on paper, do not forget Summer Games Done Quick 2023 schedule is now out as well. Head on over to gamesdonequick.com or use !SGDQ in chat for more information. Now, do not forget right now, we're having a BOGO sale here at the Bargain Bin for the first time ever, a BOGO sale. The next two episodes for this one and the next one from 2 weeks from now will be dedicated to this beautiful game known as Final Fantasy VI. So we're going to be showcasing that. We have, I thought it would be great also with the Pixel remasters just hitting consoles. So now we can go ahead and see Celeste, Locke, Terra, Sabin as more as they learn about Espers and defeat that evil Kefka. And we have with us our fantastic runner for this, Nightshade. How are you doing, Nightshade?
Hello, I'm doing well.
Good.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited for this.
I am as well.
It's just you and me now. Dine's disappeared again.
He'll be back.
Hopefully, because I don't know what's going on. Well, I do, but
something about finals and fantasies and espers and I don't know.
It's something.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm the color commentator, the Sid. I'm fairly aware of Final Fantasy VI. It's been a while. Last time I checked in, we were Baba breathing Kefka away, so I'll be the outlet for chat asking what's going on here.
Whenever you're ready, Nightshade.
Okay. All right. You just want a 3 count?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
So luckily, right off the bat, we have a lot of stuff. There's a nice cutscene skip here, right?
Yeah, it's 4 minutes and 23 seconds until it fades out. So it's going to be just about 4.5 minutes before you actually get any gameplay here. In the console version that just came out, actually, you can skip this, which is amazing.
Oh, is that really console exclusive? Yeah, I got so excited when I did that. I was like, oh, you don't wait for it anymore? What is this black magic?
I imagine that they will eventually add it to PC. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, it's sooner or later, but they're gonna hold out as long as possible to try and get you to buy it again for the 6th time.
I already
Unfortunately.
did. So.
Yeah, I got it on console too because I was so excited that you let me come and do commentary for this. I'm gonna be trying to do what you're doing after this the next couple of days.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm excited that it's available on consoles because it's, especially for me, like on the Switch, I can just play these games on the go in that, with that amazing new redone soundtrack.
Oh yeah, but the nice thing about the consoles right now, you can't do it on PC, but on the console releases, you can actually switch to the original music on all the PRs.
Yeah, one of the really cool things that unfortunately isn't here yet, since it's the PC version, right? There's you can actually turn off encounters on the console ports, ×4, or even you can zero out or half your EXP, gold gain, and AP, so you can learn spells quicker. So we won't be able to take advantage of that for this run, unfortunately.
That's a nice thing in that it makes for fun challenge runs.
Oh, when I saw like the 0 and 0.5, I was like, I did not expect that. It was like I'd seen like a Garland the Great video for like doing 0 EXP rotating characters boss fights for Final Fantasy VII, and I'm just like, what is this madness? And the things that you can do with some of these Final Fantasy games is truly amazing.
Now, we have a little bit of this cutscene here. Just give me one quick second. What right off the bat, from the Pixel remaster version to the original Super Nintendo or Game Boy version or PlayStation version, is going to be different than anything else we've seen, or will there be anything?
Well, as far as like if you're going to compare to SNES version, the biggest thing's going to be a step route. We don't have a step route on this version, which means basically we don't know what encounters we're going to get. We don't know where we're going to get them. In SNES, we know exactly what we get and where, except for a couple spots in the game.
All YOLO all the time, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little more volatile of a run. It's not bad. It's just not consistent like the SNES version. It is faster overall, though.
That's the one thing with like the randomizer. You don't really appreciate how scary some of these fights are when you're not guaranteed to run into them. But you find some slam dancers, and you're going to learn to fear them very quickly.
There's some quality of life things, like there's certain encounters that are unrunnable in SNES, and you can actually run from pretty much everything in this version.
Smoke bombs are still important, or do you just use running normally?
Smoke bombs are very, very important.
Yeah, because that's instant flee and guarantee, just like warp stones.
Say that again?
The smoke bombs and warp stones are both instant flee and like guaranteed flees, even if you're like pincered right.
Yes, but the warp stones are obviously going to cost you more, so we only buy a few of those in the run, and we use them to escape certain areas of the game.
Yeah, I'm just like speaking from like a randomizer perspective, because sometimes you can't find the smoke bombs, so figured I'd lump them in together because they kind of have the same functionality. One's just a lot cheaper. Man, after skipping this yesterday, I just remembered how long this actually is. All right, gameplay. Let's go.
The way we flee in this is actually also a bit different.
Okay.
The ATB builds actually we can ATB wait, and it will still build the run meter, which is kind of a hidden meter in the game.
Yeah, because like the requirements is you have to have full ATB, but you can like in the old game it was hold L and R to run, but you could build the hidden meter even when your ATB is not maxed out. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because the whole point here is just to siphon all the EXP into Terra, because Biggs and Wedge are going to go bye-bye real quick. Oh, you can still skip that. Nice. Yeah, there was the little encounter skip. That's why I went off to the side a bit and then came back into the center. There's actually an encounter in that middle tile.
Correct. 2 encounters, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wow.
It's back-to-back encounters. You fight the dogs, then the guards.
Worlds Collide has spoiled me since I haven't had to do this in forever. All I know, Magitech is OP. Too bad we can't carry it with us.
Alright, well I messed up a little bit there. That's okay though. I held auto battle slightly too long. Doesn't really hurt anything.
I seen a couple questions in chat. One I think was answered, but one was, what's the single biggest upgrade as far as you're concerned? I'm just gonna throw that out there. If you want to do double, maybe one as like a casual perspective of this, and another one maybe for the speedrun tech.
The biggest upgrade, auto battle. Auto battle makes this run phenomenally faster.
Yeah, because like the ATB basically like sets how fast the enemy goes, correct? At least that's how it used to
Yes,
be.
not yourself, just the enemy.
Yeah, because I remember when I was first getting into this, like they kind of explained that for whatever reason the Japanese runners like playing it on like the harder, so they'd have it set. 6 is like I think the difficult, and 1 is the one where you're at the most advantage, right?
1 is going to make the game a lot harder.
Okay, so I have it backwards.
Yes.
Yeah. Like English runners would usually use 6 because it makes your life a lot easier. There's some places you can turn it up, but you don't necessarily need to. But for the most part, 1 will make it more difficult than it needs to be. Unless you're really looking for a challenge.
I don't know if Dine's not here right now. I was saying, Dine, when Dine comes back, he can explain it a little bit better than I can. But Japanese has what's called BS1A. It's Battle Speed 1 Active. Whereas, for English version, we use Battle Speed 6 Wait. So you can't ATB wait with Active. When you're in your menus, their ATB's climbing. It never stops.
Yeah, weight tricking is like a really useful tech where you can like kind of block the opponent from taking actions and chain yours together much more quickly, right?
Absolutely, yes.
It makes a lot of this a lot more realistic, and with Active, that goes away.
Yes. So with weight, we can use ATB weight tricking, and we can basically stall them and get minimal attacks from the enemy while we maximize our attacks.
Yeah. There goes Magitech, the best ability in the entire game. R.I.P. Oof. If you guys don't play Randomizer at all, Tech Missile is absolutely broken. It does a ton of magic damage, ignores magic defense and sap, and now it's gone, and we're never going to get it back, unfortunately. So I guess we'll have to make do with just regular old Terra, huh?
That was okay.
That was impressive on how fast the menuing was there from choosing character names.
Thank you. Well, I can't really claim that because in Final Fantasy VI, as far as like for the rules and stuff, we're allowed turbo.
Oh yeah,
so I can't say that was my massive just ability to mash. That was turbo.
Yeah,
I can mash but not with the best of them.
Yeah, I do Final Fantasy VII Remake myself, and like mashing is if you don't have 2 buttons to mash, it is incredibly hard to get a good rhythm going.
Yeah, it's hard.
I wish we could use turbo. You're just like, please just stop talking. Thankfully, I could skip with triangle and circle.
So one thing about this, so we just got a back attack. I would say in my runs, 90% of the time I get at least 1 back attack here. There's a second. The back attack rate seems to be very, very much higher in the PR version in this cave.
Okay, so you're going for like a certain amount of EXP so that you can do the fights reasonably without high risk,
we got
right?
3. Wow. Yeah, so that's why I took those extra steps over there. I kind of went to the left and just ran up and down. We don't want to leave this cave without Terra being level 6.
Well, that also sets the level for the incoming party members as well, right?
Yes.
Because there's a leveling curve.
You have a party averaging when a new character joins.
Yeah, it's one of those things like you forget about in randomizers because they give you like a bazillion times EXP and stuff, just like the new version of this. And you're just like, well, yeah, characters join at level 20. That's normal. You got to work for it in this.
And that's something we also take advantage of later. We won't see that in this part of the run, but the next show we will see why we build level up before we gain characters.
Yeah. Because your main stay in the early game is kind of spread across the party, but Terra at one point gets really, really buff.
Here, after a little while, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because just like the game I play, Remake, magic is really overpowered in this. Even more so with some of the cool items we get way later on, but magic is super good because the amount of like buffs you get. I think it's the earrings that are the most broken, correct?
So earrings add plus 25 to your magic, to your damage.
Yeah. And that stacks, right? So you can hit 50%?
Yes, you can put 2 of them on and be plus 50% damage.
Yeah. I think that's like one of the reasons why it's so good. That you don't have to go out of your way for a weapon; you just get the spells naturally.
Yes,
You
and
have 50% from the earrings. And go ahead.
we also have hero rings, which are even better. They add plus 25% to magic and plus 25% to physical.
Yeah. The unfortunate is like physical doesn't stack like that. So even if you have,
The
like,
hero ring actually does stack.
well, I mean on magic, right? It just doesn't stack physical.
No, it stacks both.
Really? Well, I learned something today. I could have sworn it was just magic that it stacked. Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that a version difference, or has it always been like that?
I haven't done the SNES run pretty much since about a month after the relay, but if I'm not mistaken, if I remember right, it does stack on that version too.
Maybe I just got confused because there's like just that one you grab in the pot. They're pretty hard to find otherwise.
I'm a little rusty right now on the SNES run.
I know there's one like you get once you go to the other side with the castle. If you go north to the house near the Chocobo Forest, I think you can grab a hero ring up there if I remember correctly. But I don't know if
yes,
you get more
yes.
than one.
You are correct. So one thing we did right here, there's a bug in the PC version. I think they may have fixed it in the console, but I'm not sure. So I sidestepped and then took an upstep and a downstep after those encounters because you can actually get an encounter bug if you just stand there where the enemy will disappear and just instantly re-attack you. And we actually just got an amazing amount of RNG right there. We just got a first try kill.
Wow.
These are some pretty clean fights, yeah.
That was very well done.
That was a little bit RNG. I was a little fast on my inputs, but either way. So he has 4 attacks.
Snare, nice.
He has Snare, which does what you just saw. He has Poisonous Frog, which a frog comes out. It's a really cool animation. Frog comes out, kills him. Will of the Wisp, which will do around 500 damage and kill him. It basically throws like ghost flames on him. And then he has what's called Cave-In. Well, Cave-In will never hit him. And I've had runs where I've gotten 4 or 5 in a row. Cave-In seems to be the more, like percentage-wise, statistically-wise, it's the more likely one to come out. But you have 3 other attacks that are an insta-kill.
Well, the other thing we want to...
Go ahead.
Is that... why is that... Why did that unmute? I'm so sorry about that.
You're okay.
Just the stream just decided to unmute. I was like, who's doing that? It's me! I'm doing that! Cool!
So we can take diagonal input, movement and like kind of save steps. I don't really take it here because I'm trying to force a fight before the desert. Not the best fight, but we would hope for a 1-pack. That was an example there of how you can ATB wait and still build your run meter.
And I did see, like I said, I did see another question that was earlier in chat about a train and something we're going to be doing with the train. And I believe we will be doing that.
Well, I would say we would have to stick around and find out.
That's true, yeah.
The reason we do take that fight in the grass there instead of the desert, there's a encounter that can cast stop on you, which obviously is going to lose you like upwards of a minute.
Yeah, one of the other things that you may have not noticed is when we were in there with the Mog, we actually stole his mithril gear. He's the only Chocobo, or not the only Mog, Moogle, I just said it, that we can actually get into his equipment, and we're not going to get him till way later in the game, so it's not worth leaving it with him. So we take it and get some free money.
Yes, exactly. do a little more damage here in a little bit, and we get to get a little bit more money later.
Yeah, it's such a nice little thing that most people don't even realize you can do. And since you can only, well, I think you could do a side quest to get him in the World of Balance, if I remember correctly. But like most people, yeah, most people only think you can get him in the World of Ruin, but you can actually get him on either side.
For speedrun purposes, we don't, because it's just a bit out of the way.
And that's one of the things where some people get confused on the randomizer too. There's actually like 2 checks there because of that.
Yes.
So some people don't even realize that you can grab him early, but without the Moogle charm, he doesn't help very much anyway. That's World of Ruin only, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So that's why it's like, well, we can get him, but his level will be lower, and we still get encounters. So, but
it would be pretty broken if they gave you the Moogle charm that early.
Speaking of charms, do you still go for the charm bangle?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I guess that should be coming up today, or is that that's going to be in the second half?
I mean, if we're fast, we might be able to get there.
Good.
We might be stopping just before it.
Okay. Well, hopefully we get there, and I didn't bring it up 2 weeks too early.
No, we'll either stop just before that part or just after.
My mind is just racing. Like, man, I wonder if what would the time be like if we could sketch glitch in this version?
Oh man.
Oh, so you cannot sketch in this version?
No.
Yeah, I think it was a 1.0 exclusive, so it had been patched long ago.
Yeah, you could only so there was a 1.0 cartridge for SNES and a 1.1. You cannot sketch glitch on 1.1. That was what the big difference was. They fixed it.
Well, the other thing that people may not even realize, right, is it works differently on the Japanese because of the pointers as well. So, like, there's 2 completely different routes for sketch, I think. At least I want to say. Might be lying. I know, like, Final Fantasy IV has some weird, like, interactions between the languages because of the way the inventory works.
Yeah.
So, like, most of them have kind of, like, different. But the problem is that a lot of speedrunners run the English version because they can actually read what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the Japanese runs. I do know, like, so the route I did in Sketch is pretty much the same route Dime did in his world record. He just did it better.
The story of my life.
Toru also used it. Toru is a Japanese runner, and he used it as well. It's involving the tent warping, which is kind of the newer route. Back in the old strat, they used to, I'm not as familiar with it, but they used to run through Kefka's tower and do some of the fights.
I gotta say, I love how, like, they're moving so fast, it feels like they're stutter stepping. It's like, what, are you just swagging on him? What is this, Edgar? I thought you needed to get out of here. I'm gonna take one step at a time. Swag it on this man. Man, all these old school cutscenes got me feeling some kind of way.
Yeah, there are some pretty good ones in this game.
Nothing quite can beat these old ones. Like, the new stuff looks really great. Like I've said, I'm a runner for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I love how it looks, but there's just like some sort of draw about these older cutscenes where
absolutely.
they do more with less.
Oh yeah.
Like, I could say I hate Kefka as much as I hate Hojo, and that's pretty impressive.
Kefka's always just kind of been, for me, one of my favorite villains.
Yeah. And he's always in the background, and you're like, oh, he's going to be the foot boss. Oh, I for some reason I thought the newer versions made you cast a spell there and get
I thought so too.
It did used to. They patched it out.
Really?
What?
Yeah, it used to force you to watch Terra cast fire. If you didn't do it, she did it anyway. And they patched it out a few months ago, and it's the best thing ever.
That is fantastic. That
For
should always
speedrun
be an
purposes,
option.
it's the best.
It's a cool cutscene that like most casual people are going to trigger. If you cast a spell there, there's a in-combat cutscene where Edgar and Locke talk to each other about Terra knowing magic, which nobody knows at this point. Ancient Esperin secret. She's a witch or something.
Did they actually say that? I don't remember that.
Locke calls her a witch.
Oh,
When he talks to Arvis. In the SNES version, not this version. In the SNES version, he calls her that Magitech riding Imperial Witch.
Yeah, it's a deep cut to the old translation for sure. Just one of those things I was like, you call it witch? Really? That seems kind of strong.
Yeah.
And then Arvis says one thing to her, and he turns around, changes his mind, and said, okay, I think we should help her.
Yeah. The protecting segment is so weird. I really wonder how much the script has been reworked. I'll have to actually read through some of it.
A lot of it is different.
I never felt like this game had a bad script, but it definitely could use a little bit of work for sure.
The script in this one more follows the GBA version.
Then I probably have read it before. I really love the GBA version quite a bit. Shadows. Oh, that's right. He does show up here. Man, the randomizer just does some kind of thing to your memory and makes you forget all sorts of things that actually happen. Oh yeah, star pendants for the poison.
Yeah, you can do this two ways. You can buy 3 sprint shoes and just go, and hope you don't get hit with a bunch of poison touch. I personally prefer to just buy the star pendants. I don't have to worry about going into my menu and taking poison off, healing all the time.
I mean, do you need the sprint shoes? Because you already get like sprint, right? Double speed.
So we get double speed, but we get 4 times with the sprint shoes.
Okay, so it stacks.
Like you see now, I'm moving very, very, very fast.
Yeah. I don't know if I can control a character at this speed. To be honest.
It's not easy.
Looks like it's definitely. That's right, the main gauge here. That gives you some evade when you equip it, right?
It's more for speed.
In terms of damage?
No. Hang on just a second.
Oh, you mean the speed on the weapon? I'm being dumb. Sorry.
Just speed on your character.
Yeah, because the weapon has...
Which helps Locke get faster ATB.
Yeah, okay. I'm used to, like, Remake, where, like, speed doesn't really affect anything unless you in a prolonged battle. But, like, in Final Fantasy VI, it actually matters.
Yes.
And get you turns much, much quicker.
We actually just got some decent encounters here. You can get mammoths, which aren't necessarily bad, but it's going to be a 2-round fight. You're going to take more damage.
Very bulky, yeah. And the monks are just a one-shot, or close enough to a one-shot.
Yeah, they actually should be right now. I just haven't done my menu yet.
Like the Gygas Gloves is 25% physical there, so it should boost your crossbow, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So are you taking these fights for leveling purposes, or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta... Since everything, like, curves, we gotta try and keep the levels up to a reasonable amount while not wasting too much time.
The idea... Go ahead.
There's a lot of places where you can, like, stop and grind and get some really efficient fights, because there's, like, zombies that we can one-shot later on. And then when we get to the end game... we want to get Terra and everybody, or not Terra, but Celeste and everybody maxed out so that, or not maxed out, but at least high enough so that we can reasonably get through Kefka's Tower. But early game, it's just kind of, well, I'll kill it if I see it, and if it's too hard to kill, I'm just going to run the other direction.
Exactly. Right now, the main goal is, by the time we get to Vargas, we want Edgar at 10, Locke at 9, and Terra at 8. And what that does with the party averaging is guarantees Sabin to join at level 11.
No, I'll talk about it when we get there. Now I'm thinking about it, because there's something with the Vargas fight that also has a cutscene, and I want to see if we trigger it or if we don't. That's the one thing with this game. There's a lot of in-battle cutscenes, or cutscenes that are basically battles. It's a very interesting thing. Unfortunately, it makes it a little bit slower during gameplay, but it's definitely a really... It has a lot of charm to it, because nowadays it's like, well, the best you get is in-engine cutscenes. It could be worse, though. Most of them are fairly quick and not too bad. And if you know about them, you can avoid them in some circumstances. Just like I mentioned earlier with the fire cutscene on the Magitech Troopers. Luckily, after that fight, it's no longer an issue. Edgar just randomly stops caring that she casts fire, unless it's in that one fight.
I think every time I've always played this casually, I always get poisoned in this section. It always affects this battle.
That was the reason I bought the 3-star pendants. They prevent poison.
The poison effect on this is nowhere near as gnarly as the Super Nintendo version, right? It's not like, oh, my eyes are bleeding.
No, it doesn't. It does a little bit, but no, it doesn't do the bump, bump, like.
Yeah, I literally have no idea where I'm going every other input.
Now
50% of the time. Go ahead.
This fight is going to be a little bit different. Just the way it turns out with Sabin. It kind of forces you to learn how to blitz.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, because you have to do the blitz and then it'll cause like a counter with Doomfist, I think, or something like that.
Yes, you're guaranteed Doomfist in this version.
Oh, okay.
He just throws it right out of the gate, and you're pretty well guaranteed you're going to get Doomfist, and you're going to get a double attack.
Okay.
The reason being, like in SNES, we can just hit Pummel and be done. In this version, we actually have to blitz him like 3 times before we get to move on.
Oh, yeah, because like Pummel, I think, is like an insta, because it like triggers a cutscene and then he just goes away. Talks a lot and then quits.
Yeah.
I guess he rage quits because Sabin got taught Pummel. I don't know why he's so worried about Pummel, because I'd say Aura Cannon's better.
In this version, it just kind of forces us to do this to trigger this cutscene right here.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
that is a tutorial.
Yeah.
And it is.
I've ever seen one. Yeah, so Sabin has a lot of cool blitzes. The only two from my recollection that are physically based are Pummel and Bum Rush. And Bum Rush might even be magical.
Bum Rush is actually magic.
Yeah, so
you have
even
Suplex and Pummel.
Yeah, Suplex and Pummel. Okay, I knew there was 2. Unfortunately, since he's a physical build character, like most people are going to buff up his power, and your blitzes are going to do almost nothing. But because we actually know about this, we can set him up with some magic boosting gear, a couple of earrings, and he'll start hitting like a truck.
Yeah, exactly. And his Aura Bolt is just an amazing. That was actually a pretty poor menu. Aura Bolt is an amazing blitz. It's actually holy based, which just does a lot of damage.
Oh yeah. Like whenever I'm doing like a randomizer, I'll forget. I'll be like, "What's Pummel again?" I'll forget all the other blitzes because it's just aurabolt.exe. I'm like, wait, I forgot how to do air rend. Wrong input. Well, I guess I'm gonna miss a turn.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. It's easy to do in this run as well, especially with auto battle. When you're trying to hold auto battle as close to the top of your ATB as you can, it's very easy to hold it just a split second too long.
So if you guys aren't like OG, it used to be that one of those returner guys right there would just kind of walk around randomly. And if you got extremely unlucky, he would walk between you and the guy guiding you inside and could soft lock you. And I remember being there watching the run where Mr. MV found that soft lock, and we were all just, that's a thing that can happen?
Yeah. Fun fact, so I've ran the SNES version for about 2.5 years now. I have never been soft locked.
It's just a credit to the MV luck, right? That Mr. MV finds the most unfortunate ways to lose runs.
What it is, so the NPCs, there's an NPC value, and it's tied to the NPC value. So if you're like way off a step where your NPC value is like really weird, that's how that can happen.
Oh, so it's basically like no RNG manip route is the only way that'll ever come up. It looks like he doesn't even move in that cutscene because they found out about it. Just grabbing some stuff to get us through the meantime, while skimping as much as we can so that we can buy the gear that actually does a lot of damage.
Yeah, what I did there, if you weren't able to see, what I did was, so I bought 2 eye drops. Reason being is because Ed is going to do attacks here on a fight coming up, and if he's blinded, blind actually does not do a thing in the SNES version. It absolutely does in this.
Nice, cool sunglasses, and that's all it does.
Yeah, and in this version, you might miss 50 to 75% of your attacks.
Wow.
If not all of them.
Yeah. A lot of these old games just had things that did nothing. This game was one of them. A lot of old people are probably like used the evasion and like, never dodged an attack, but threw on the I think it's Magus or Minerva armor and would dodge literally everything because magic was the only thing that would actually magic evade would be the only thing to affect evade.
Yes,
There's a lot of things like that in the OG game, and for better or worse, they fixed it. So it is what it is.
Hello,
Oh,
hello!
he
The
lives.
man himself has arrived.
That was the fastest motherboard swap I've ever done.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Wow.
wow.
Talk about speed running.
Just don't touch the desk.
Get the anti-static bracelet
No,
out.
Welcome back. Glad you were able to make it.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries.
Now we have somebody that knows what's going.
Oh, Sid, you've been here the whole time, buddy. I had no doubt in my mind.
Luckily, I have just enough randomizer in the head to ask a question and get a good answer.
All right, we're not.
I know how to lead the questions, but I don't know if they're right.
So what I tried to do there was I tried to run buffer and get as many of them as I could to run, except for Ed. Tara was the only one that decided she was going to actually go. But that's
So if
okay
you guys-
because we'll do it again here, and we'll hit a level 11 with it.
The level plays into the damage formula. Thankfully, a lot between the Pixel Remaster and the SNES versions remain pretty much the same. There is a little bit of changes between the two versions, but level does play into the damage formula. So getting Edgar to level 11 here is pretty important because it also causes a trickle-down effect. Cyan will gain an extra level. Celis will start with an extra level. If you don't get it, at the end of the day, it's not the worst thing in the world, but any little bit of extra damage you can get is always welcome.
Yeah. And if you guys aren't aware or familiar with this game because you've just been watching speedrunners, if Bannon gets KO'd, that is a fail state. So we do need to be careful about that, but hopefully I'm just talking about something that will never happen.
That's what we're going to hope for.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see his HP is pretty low and he's not very sturdy. So if we get really unlucky, things can go bad. But they were nice enough to give him a heal command, which I believe is basically a Cure 2 spell.
Yeah.
His stats are kind of meh, but it's still enough if you do have to use it.
Bannon also starts at average party level -5. So when you don't have a lot of levels to begin with, losing an additional 5 levels really hurts.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like the solution is to just loop the river here, right, with a turbo controller.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
select up forever.
That was the old casual strat. You want to hit high level real quick? Just put a rubber band on your controller and loop the river overnight.
No cap, I've done that at least twice when I played through this game. The amount of things like you can do in the old version is pretty cool. I love the the saving Leo glitches and stuff they found, where like as long as you don't save and then just like tank a game over, you get warped like all the way back to the beginning with your levels and stuff, and it's just like, huh? The OG, that's the one nice thing about the Pixel Remaster is it's not as broken as the OG, but it also fixes all the things that could be very frustrating because they just don't function properly.
So, sorry if I repeat a bunch of things that have already been said. I'm very late to the party. In this route, we go for the Gauntlet instead of the Genji Glove. In the SNES, the Genji Glove was supposed to give 75% damage for each weapon equipped. But due to a bug in the formula, each weapon dealt 100% damage, so it ended up being far superior than the Gauntlet. Obviously, this is one of the fixes in Pixel Remaster, where the Gauntlet reigns supreme as it should.
That's Gauntlet causes you to two-hand, so it doubles the damage, correct?
I believe
it's
it's
double
150.
damage.
Is it double?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
I
I
might
was
be
going to
thinking
bring that up, and then I got
150.
distracted, and it's a good thing you mentioned it, because I was like, oh, we're going to do Genji Glove and something else happened.
It's
shiny.
double battle power. It's supposed to be like a 2 times, but because the way the formula works, it's like a 1.75, 1.8 if you want to get really technical.
So, in the math, it does this, but practically it's...
Yeah.
That damage is... Whoa.
So Ultros 1 is one of the bigger hurdles for coming from SNES to the Pixel Remaster. In the SNES, this is a completely scripted fight. In PR, just because of the way the battle flows, especially with the increase due to auto battle, you're kind of just swinging for the fences and praying. Aura Cannon, because it is a magic-based blitz, is a very large source of damage, and because it's magic, you can't miss.
I was just about to ask that, yeah.
Edgar with the Gauntlet and the Mithril Pike. The Mithril Pike is a weapon we're really not supposed to have at this point in the game. It's pretty powerful. It's about 50 attack stronger than anything Edgar has. High roll.
That was a rough hit. That was a rough hit. But the thing we were looking for there is when he threw out that party-wide tentacle, there's a small chance he can do the part. He always will do the party-wide. From there, he might ink somebody, he might physical somebody, or he can do another single tentacle. So if he party-wide tentacles and then tentacles banning, you're dead.
Yeah.
That's the only risk on this fight.
I guess he didn't want us to see the desperation attack. What a bummer. It's one of those things that people think it's like an urban legend till you get it. I got it in a randomizer. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a thing. Royal Shock, let's go!
They have very wonky stipulations for the desperation attacks. It's very, very common to find people that have played the game that have never seen them, because it requires 28 seconds of battle to pass, and you have to be in critical health. And then if you use the fight command, it's a 1 in 16 chance of it happening. So you kind of, if anything, you're really going to see it on the Tears fight, because that's considered just one very stretched out battle.
Yeah.
Does somebody want to touch on a certain character a lot of people like that we just bypassed?
Oh, why you no Shadow? This is bad. I'm rebelling.
Skipping Shadow is quote unquote optimal in the SNES. It's optimal in really any route. In the SNES, it offers a lot of benefits because you're allowed to influence randomosity. Randomosity is depending on how many people are in your party and what enemy pack you have. Having Shadow will increase preempts, back attacks, pincers. It's more he'll increase preempts and decrease pincers. In PR, because the way the ATB works with trying to run away, having that third character really doesn't help much. If anything, trying to get more people to run away from a battle is more of a hindrance.
So since we don't have smoke balls, it's not worth it, even though we can steal some items off him.
It's the Ninja Gear's nice because it's +2 to speed, but with the way auto battle works, it doesn't help out Sabin. It's not nothing to write home about.
That makes sense.
Oh wow, that was a mistake. It'll be okay. This
first fight, we're going to be using Cyan's level 2 technique. It's a magic-based counterattack that will counter on physical abilities. as you can see, it is very strong. And we got the common 7/8 drop, the black belt. It's very nice, sells for 2,500 GP. Funny enough, the rare drop is a Phoenix Down. This game is kind of funny where you really want the common drops more than the rare drops because the commons are worth a lot more.
Flashbacks of Drainer.
Yeah, because items you can't buy in shops sell for 1 GP. So much later on, you can get a Rune Edge, which sells for 4,500 or 3,500, or you can get a Drainer, which sells for 1. In the grand scheme, it doesn't affect the money route horribly much. If you end up missing a lot of the steals, then you could be a little rod short, but we end up overbuying most of the times anyways. It's just more of, I want that icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love Leo is just like laser focused, not looking one way or the other.
Yeah, there's just not some big old muscle Hulk Hogan guy standing right behind that little wall.
He's just under there laying on the floor like Snake without any sneaking suit, just in like a Kempo gi. Don't notice me, don't notice me, don't notice me. Kefka saw him.
This whole time, I always thought that Sabin was just like a knockoff Guile.
I can see that.
Sabin has a much better mullet.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A Q argument over which Street Fighter game this Guile would be from then. No, that's Street Fighter 5 Guile. I hear he's really broken. So we have to take care of a few of these fights. This is where Shadow could be pretty useful because he did have a counterattack that sometimes would trigger with a dog. Did a nice chunk of damage, but as Dine said, it's not worth the extra time running away because these are like the only fights guaranteed that we're going to have to take. Everything else we want to just dip out and be like, yep, no.
I have to add, Sabin did a pretty well job of blocking there.
Yeah, that was a very good fight.
It's one of those things.
A lot of times I'll end up with like the low 100 range, which isn't the greatest. You can get through the next few fights with it, but you can't mess with the Magitech fights. You have to heal.
So funny enough with Interceptor, Interceptor is actually a status effect on Shadow. When Shadow gets hit, the game rolls 2 different evasion possibilities. One of them is Interceptor blocks, one of them is his physical evasion takes over. And because everything in this game, Interceptor's attacks are also magic, and they ignore magic damage. This game is very heavily geared towards magic damage, kind of being close to the end-all be-all. A lot of things that you look at be like, no, that's physical. It more often than not, it ends up being magic.
The more I learn about the Final Fantasy series in general, the more I see like that one is usually overwhelmingly more powerful than the other, and usually magic is the hands-down favorite in most situations. 5 with all its different status effects, hold, shock, all that stuff. Same thing here. And then as soon as you add in like stat boosting stuff, it starts getting really wild really fast.
Yeah, magic, you can have up to a 50% damage increase where physicals is capped at 25. So throwing something like a hero ring and earring on someone, earring will boost magic by 25. Hero ring will do physical and magic by 25. So if you have a character like Edgar, for an example, giving him a hero ring earring will maximize his damage no matter what he does, whether it's flash, drill, chainsaw.
We actually brought this up a little bit ago, Don, while you were having your difficulty. I couldn't remember, but I kind of remember now. It's been a while since I've ran the SNES run, but the hero ring also stacks.
It will stack on the magic side, but not the physical side.
So Sid was correct. It does not stack on the physical side.
Yeah, I wasn't like confident enough to argue, but I'm pretty sure I remember Dine and a few other runners saying this during other commentated runs. But I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that's
Runners
why
right.
I mentioned
I'm just here to ask questions.
That's why I mentioned I'm not completely sure because it's been since, like I said, September since I ran a SNES run.
Yeah, a lot of the times we'll throw double hero ring just for the magic boost because we're lacking earrings.
Yeah, it's just randomizer brain where most of this stuff comes from. So mostly magic ends up being really powerful until you don't find earrings and then you're just crying all day long. They're so common, how do I not have it?
Okay, he's fine. I wanted to check his HP there just to be safe because I wait out here so Cyan will attack first. Just to try to get, well, he attacked bad, but... Oh, he countered, nice.
Whoa.
So Cyan is equipped with a black belt during only this part of the game. So he does have a 25% chance to counterattack any physical attack with a physical attack. Which you could make also an argument where Sabin equips the black belt here. And then hopefully, especially with the 4 guard fight before the poisoning, so he could knock out the front 2 soldiers quickly. It seems like when Sabin's by himself with the black belt, the chances increase, even though there's nothing documented about it. You could just be getting very lucky. Because usually, especially in the SNES run, you end up coming here on pretty close to the same RNG values. So it would be quite hard to tell.
It's one of those 25% of the time it works 100% of the time. And 100% of the time it works 0% of the time.
Yep. It'd be that one run you're really hoping for it, and Sabin's just like, not going to do it. Not going to do it.
I do have a good one. Does he just naturally have a black belt here, Dine?
Cyan only for the sequence where he's kind of in his berserk state, and then after that, the game auto-equips it from him.
Okay, I was wondering, I was like, I didn't remember putting the black belt on him.
No, he just, a lot of times he'll counter, which I guess I never really thought of it that way. I just thought he was going nuts and just, if he got attacked, sometimes he just gets mad and hits him back.
Yeah, it's interesting, the little program they hide behind the scenes.
It's kind of funny in the SNES because you can watch Cyan ATB counter cancel himself. So counter cancel is a mechanic when, if you're at full ATB and you cause a counterattack, the counterattack will act as their move and their ATB will be frozen between 15 to 20 seconds. So there's a couple of times, very rare, but it has happened, where Cyan's done a counterattack and he's just sat there with full ATB not doing anything. I remember the first time I see it, I'm just like, do something, please.
Something, anything, yeah. The Super NES version is like both the pinnacle of programming and the biggest pile of spaghetti.
It's duct tape at its finest.
Once we finally start ripping the hood apart, we realize how like just spit and hope are in these games.
One thing I need to mention there, am I mistaken or did I just have a 1 encounter Phantom Forest?
No, that was very good.
Yeah, I'm used to doing the 7 remakes, so it's like random encounters. No, they're all set. My brain doesn't even like register this kind of stuff.
So in the SNES run in that forest, we're guaranteed 3 encounters. It's just completely random in this version. I've actually gone through once or twice with 0, which is amazing. But it's very, very rare.
The Phantom Train is the one area where it's one of the few places where every runner hates it.
Absolutely.
The encounters can be extremely nasty. You can get 4 Whisperers, which cast Demi, or Angel Whisper, they're called in this.
Speak of the devil.
Demi is just a very slow animation.
Yeah.
As you can see, these clouds are no better with Drain. You can get bombs, ghosts that cast fire on you repeatedly, and you have a good chunk of potions and tonics, or whatever they're called in this version.
This is the bad encounter.
But it's very easy just to deplete your resources if the Phantom Train decides to play rough.
Yeah, but to answer in chat, yeah, we may or may not be inverting a train. You're just gonna have to wait and see for that.
We are very close to finding out, however.
We are.
Yes.
If chat chants enough, it does increase your chance.
Oh,
because
boy.
it'll make
Oh.
Knight feel bad if it doesn't happen.
Oh, this is not the best thing in the world.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm just going to do a little extra,
Okay, there we go.
just to be safe. One more attack likely could have killed me.
Time to get some food.
Yep.
Snarf, snarf, gobble, gobble.
Also, thank goodness
remember
for
as a-
autosave.
Yes, autosave makes this quite a friendly run. In
You know-
SNES, we have a step route, so you can kind of play. You know when to play risky and when not. But the autosaves is very, very nice for a run like this.
Especially
You
when
know,
you
like-
don't have any idea what encounters you might get.
Yeah. The crazy, the cool part there is like when you guys brought up the autosave, in that last fight, I had like a panic attack. I was like, no, because I did not know about the autosave. I was just like, not like this. Yeah, that you get spoiled on it. I think with the old games, you get hard punished for not saving, and then when you I do a lot of stuff with Limit Break, so we do a lot of RPGs. So I've seen a lot of people be punished by being greedy with saving, and I don't like watching it because it hurts at the very core of my being.
I'm not really a fan of having to use a Phoenix Down here, but
Well, as long as we still have one, it's
sometimes
fine.
it has to be like that. Yes, as long as we have one, we're fine. Train's not being the kindest with these back attacks.
Yeah, this is
Actually a little worse.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right, looks like we're getting food regardless.
It do be like that some days.
So, funny enough, with Cyan getting petrified, one of the changes from SNES to PR is that petrified and zombied characters still get experience from battles. A large chunk of what we're going to be fighting is bosses, so we don't have to worry about that, but it is a very interesting change from the base game. And
Plus, he can tank the physicals.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's kind of nice, and I think in the SNES it used to influence randomosity because they would get ATB, but I think they got rid of that in the Pixel Remaster versions because they always start with none.
So we just grabbed one of those aforementioned earrings like we were talking about are super, super broken. I just remembered that every time seeing a runner getting it and doing randomizer, I'm like, oh, check that chest. Now I know that chest is better than whatever I get in the randomizer every single time.
I can't lie, with Cyan being petrified here, this is a little scary on the upcoming train fight because there is something he can do that could really mess everything up.
Oh.
And we're going to hope we don't see that particular thing.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit tight because we're
Oh,
going.
goodness.
Well,
Going to say hi to the train.
it's very
I didn't
encounter
know you
heavy.
could get an encounter there.
It's news to me too,
Learning
sir.
is fun.
I
At
thought that
least
was
they're
an event
attacking
tile.
Cyan, so this
Yeah,
is
I was
actually not too bad. I stand corrected.
Well, as soon as we say it, you know?
I mean, it wouldn't be a run if I didn't
75%
jinx
of the
myself.
time.
Just to be safe, we'll just do a quick save there so we don't have to deal with that encounter again if we do have something detrimental happen.
This is going to be the one downside of having him.
And there it is.
Oh.
Cool.
So the
Oh.
train can do an ability called Diabolical Whistle,
And
which
there it is.
Oh,
inflicts
no.
a boatload of status effects, Berserk being one of them, Imp, Poison, Sap.
Just
We
like all the-
can't unpetrify Cyan because we don't have a remedy and we don't have a soft. Nightshade might have got a soft drop from the Bull Mammoth in Mount Colts.
Oh, no.
I want to see a self-plex. Is that still possible?
In
Nope.
PR, no. It defaults to the
Oh.
attack command, especially when you're berserked. Self-plexes only really happen after you've queued up the suplex command and you get muddled because it changes target.
Unfortunately,
I guess-
right there, there's not a whole lot you can do about what just happened there.
Other than just like reset.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, this, yeah.
Getting the dread gaze on Cyan was kind of not of good thing to have happen.
Yes.
The better thing to do there, and he's going to do it again.
Oh my goodness.
Toot, toot. Okay,
Oh, nice. We got the shades.
Oh.
and it has definitely been inverted.
All right.
Now we just need to kill
Now,
it.
suplex it to death. Go. 25 more. You can do this. I believe you.
Yeah, I run Final Fantasy VII Remake Hard Mode, and they block out items because they realized how busted magic was, and there's a ghost boss fight, and I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
Fighting any undead enemy without this is the worst. It's the worst.
The Phantom Train has the zombie status on it. So what Phoenix Down, Elixir, Revivify, they all kind of remove the zombie status, and then the game goes, oh, you're no longer a zombie. Exit stage right. So it does 1900 because that's how much HP the Doom Train has. Once you factor in the suplex damage. So in the PR, this is another change is when you use Revivifies or Phoenix Downs to kill an enemy, it will display their HP value.
That's the nice thing. Like Revivifies are way cheaper than Phoenix Downs, right?
Yeah. They're cheaper and they have a faster animation.
Yep.
Can you also talk about how sad this section
where
is?
is timer looking right now? I'm going to say we're probably somewhere around 54, 55 minutes. Probably 50, maybe 56.
Closer to 56, I believe. About
Okay.
58.
So I would say we're going to have one more fight. We're going to do this waterfall sequence coming up. That's probably a good time to take a break right there before we meet our green-haired friend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean a timer with enemies in it?
I do.
So if you guys don't know, the waterfall will just infinitely spawn enemies until the timer in the background runs out. I know in the Super NES version, we used to just wait for the music to loop 3 times. I'm not sure if it's the same cue for this one.
It is. It's still 70 seconds of active battle
Actually,
timer.
in this one, it's about 30.
Because of auto battle.
Did I just do that?
Yeah, that must be
Because
nice.
auto battle speeds everything up.
I saw you go back in, and I'm like, this isn't.
Yeah.
This isn't the randomizer. We don't need to
That
fight
was
the train again.
well, what that was the wrong input.
Oh, okay.
I held down game.
Oh yeah. First inputs. I'm pretty sure my console is possessed. I know the feeling.
So we don't really have to worry about healing or anything here. We're going to get a full heal here when we jump off this cliff. Like a
'Cause that's
couple
how that works in
maniacs
real
that just
life.
want to take a dive.
Just jump into a giant body of water from the top of a cliff, and you'll just get healed back. That's how that works.
So as I was saying, like in this particular run, the timer's only about 30 seconds because we have a lovely thing called auto battle. So basically, as soon as the music loops, we are pretty well good to go.
Yeah. I thought it was 60. I didn't even realize.
And it is
70.
in SNES. It's a little over 60, actually.
Okay.
It's like 29. It's like 2,980 frames or something like that. If you want to get like nitty gritty.
Whoa. I don't know what a frame count is. Get that out of here. I'm a person. I measure in seconds. Come on. Do I look like a Super Nintendo to you?
I want to say, if I remember right in the SNES version, it's about 68 seconds.
Yeah.
It could be a little bit less than that.
Oh, Remedy. Oh, we could have used that.
A
Why
good
don't we-
safe
Oh,
bet in
yeah.
SNES run would be to...
We can unpetrify cyan.
Oh, yeah.
now.
Just rub it in, why don't you?
In the SNES version, a good safe bet for that fight is to count to 10 before the after the music loops, and you'll be guaranteed Rise of Boss.
Hey, it's that guy nobody uses.
Yo, there's
As a
roads
rando
revolved around him.
he's very good in the rando.
He is.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Especially if you like preset with some for him to come a little bit loaded. The problem is like learning what rages do what can be very frustrating unless you like pull up the list. But Gao is actually very strong, but in our speed run, he's way too much time to set up, unfortunately.
So I think we'll try to enter the town and hope we don't get a fight here. And this is probably a good time for a break.
Yo!
if you want to pause timer.
Oh, yep.
And we will see you in about, 5 minutes?
Yeah, we're going to take for those that don't know, now we take little breaks here for wellness breaks to kind of get through and make sure everyone can get up, stretch, get some water, hydrate, all of that. Don't forget, if you are watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, head on over to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Once again, we're going to take a small little break, to get up, stretch, get some water, and then we'll be right back with more Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster.
Go.
Hello, and welcome back to the Bargain Bin here at the GDQ Hotfix. Sorry, this is all something in the back of my head. I'm still your host, Midnight Vesper, and do not forget, Summer Games Done Quick 2023 is coming up May 28th to June 4th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you're interested in attending an event, registration is now open until May 3rd. Head to GamesDoneQuick.com for more information. I'll send it right back over to Nightshade.
All right, so now I can go.
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1, time.
We won't begrudge you those 3 steps. It's fine.
So here we're buying a dried meat to get Gao. We don't really want to fight any encounters along the way. Gao has a 5/8 chance to show up at the end of any encounter. And when he shows up, there's a bunch of text, and then he's like, "I'm hungry." So we throw him some dried meat, and he's like, "Oh, hey friends, I can show you this place."
Yep. Dried meat heals for like 150. High potions, I think, are 250. So as you can see, the HP values, like dried meat's meh, so we stick to high potions, so we just need the one for this guy right here. And he's happy to come with us. Oh, wait, what?
You do have to be...
Oh, okay. I was like, where's the cutscene? I got scammed. What is this?
I don't remember it fading to black either. I thought it went straight to it.
It did in SNES. In PR, it kind of switches because it's got to get rid of the menu UI. Where with the SNES, it would just overlay the text on top of the menu boxes.
Yeah, another one of those battle cutscenes I was talking about earlier. That's the one nice thing about this game is they managed to make like battle a reasonably decent cutscene, even if it is a little jank compared to like the 7, 8, 9 cutscenes. It definitely has charm to it.
So Gao was a good boy. He smelt the meat on us, followed us right to the cave.
Absolutely.
Also, why didn't we rename Cyan now? What kind of run is this?
Quick, time to farm rename cards.
Somebody
Rename
find naming way.
cards.
There it is. Yeah.
I feel scammed.
Is naming way
Yeah.
in anything outside of like, I think is 5 the
4?
last time we see naming way?
4. I don't know
4,
if he was in.
yeah.
I don't think he was in 5. I know he was in 4.
I couldn't remember.
The only person I think the only person you can rename in 5 is Butts.
It is. Yeah, you said it right the first time.
Oh, I see.
I'm pretty new to the 5 run, but yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle to learn that run. It's not the easiest run. A minor mistake in the 5 PR run can ruin it.
I'd imagine because I did see some like notes for it where they were like fixed Dark Shock and old and stuff, so it's probably got a lot harder strats than what used to be used on the SNES version.
So my first run through that I actually completed of that run, I accidentally auto battled a couple too many times with Xenonage, and I ran out
There
of
goes
gold
money.
1 hit from killing Neo X Death.
Yeah, you got to have all those pennies to throw. You got to
Pay
get him
to
out
win.
of here. He's asked. He's like, "Hey man, do you have $1 to spare? Look, I got $150 to spare. Just get out of my face."
I know someone here said pay to win, which makes me ask the question: did Final Fantasy in the early days come up with pay to win?
I mean, if you think about FF5 with Xenonage, possibly.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting skill because, like, once you get towards the end game, your money is just useless, and it sits in there because you're not buying anything.
Yeah.
It's an inventive way to get it, but once speedrunners realized the formula was busted, it started becoming pay to win real quick. Buy equipment? No, I'll just throw my pennies at people and it ends.
It is a fun run, but you definitely have to pay attention to everything you're doing.
Yeah, I've done a few 4-drop fiascos, and it makes you realize
you did it.
how
You turned.
baby.
He actually did it.
you wild man.
That was a weak roll.
Low rolls.
So the solo angle form is by far one of the scariest encounters in the Let River. As you can see, when he's by himself, he has a 33% chance to use Aqua Breath. We got hit with it and we lived, which yay for us. But we also have an issue of we have to get through a second encounter before we can actually heal.
Oh.
So one person dying here during the river is kind of ideal because it does increase your preemptive and your side attack chance by about 10%.
Plus it speeds up escape, right?
Yeah.
Especially
so
if
it
it's
goes back
Cyan.
to the old. Yeah, Cyan, every time you get into a battle, the game sets a run difficulty. It's a numerical value. Most enemies at this point in the game will add 2 to it. The Angua form is especially sticky because it has a hard to run flag, so it counts as 3 enemies.
Oof.
And you build run gauge every 2 active battle seconds. Obviously, it's faster because of auto battle. And once you hit that number, the game will do a check on those 2 seconds. And if you've met the number, you run. Sabin and Gal will increase it quite a bit because they're younger. Funny enough, the older a character is, the slower they fill the bar.
Yeah, when you talked about Aqua Breath, all I was thinking about was where's that old man when I need him?
So oddly enough, I was holding a run there and they just stopped doing the run animation.
Sounds about right.
I kept holding it because it should have still built it up.
Yeah. Speaking of encounters...
You don't actually have to hold it, to be honest, in this version.
Oh, really?
I prefer to. I'm just something I'm used to from the
Muscle
SNES
memory.
runs. Yes.
So, speaking of encounters, we're on the PC version. They haven't updated this yet as of the time that we're recording this and doing this live. There's no encounter, no EXP multiplier, any of that stuff. So unfortunately, even though that did just come out on console, we're dealing with regular EXP, AP, GP, and normal encounter rates. So I know some people might ask, and I figured we might as well start that at the start of the part.
Yes, absolutely.
We grabbed the Green Beret. This is something you wouldn't grab in the SNES run. This increases the maximum HP of whoever wears it by 12.5%. We will be buying a Megas hat. We'll be selling sleeping bags, antidotes, tents, auto crossbow, and black belt. And then we'll be buying as many smoke bombs as we can. The Megas hat is something we're going to be using for pretty much the entire run.
That's kind of
It
cute. I don't
adds
like that.
+5 to magic, which for a lot of abilities, especially
It's fine.
when it comes to Celis using magic, will boost it by quite a bit. You'll see
Yeah.
Terra also using a lot of it. A lot of the equipment the characters will get, especially in the latter half of the World of Balance and the start of the World of Ruin, isn't the best defensive, but it boosts magic. And that's the main thing we're concerned about.
Yeah, +5 may sound very minuscule, but let me assure you, that is massive in this game. And because a lot of things give you +5 or +10 early on, and all you have to do is basically give up defense or offense in one way or another, it starts stacking pretty quickly along with that 50% when you double down on earrings or hero ring earring combo. So your damage do be going wild though.
Now that we have access to smoke bombs, we'll be queuing everyone up with it. We can just auto battle ourselves to a giant puff away. This is one change different from SNES. We'll do Terra scenario and then locks. It's a pretty nifty route change that the Japanese runners have been doing for quite a bit. We'll be stealing the gauntlet off of Edgar. and we'll be giving it to Lock. Normally in the SNES, you want to do Lock and then Terra because you can manipulate how many encounters you get on this river, just to make the step route a little more consistent. Because we don't have to worry about the manipulation, this just works out the best of the time-wise to get through the scenarios.
Yeah.
To touch on what I just did by going into my menu, so I had died at the train, and the PRs have a weird thing about auto battle. So if you die and reload a save, what ends up happening is your auto battle could possibly even say on, but it's not going to work. So you have to turn it off then back on. It seems to be more like that on 6. On the earlier ones, it tends to usually just shut off, and then you just turn it back on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've run into that when I was playing through casually a few times, like on 3. Because some of those bosses will just cream you real fast.
Absolutely.
And it's over. But I was like, oh, that must be a specific bug here.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
say
just
that's
it's being
probably-
shared through all 6 of them.
It's probably nice that it shuts off anyway, because then you don't run headfirst into a fight after you just got sent packing and start doing the same exact thing that got you sent packing in the first place.
I never learn from my mistakes. I'll just keep running into that battle and then complaining that I keep dying.
Mistakes? What are those?
I didn't mean to throw this potion. What is this?
They're merely delayed victories.
They're not mistakes when you do them every time.
Just giving the enemy a chance to level the playing field.
So that rune blade there is for money, or is that magic bonus?
Both.
Okay. So we use it early game and then ditch it later once we get...
It's used for crits for Celis here in just a minute.
Oh, that's right.
And
The rune blade.
after that, we sell it for gold.
The rune blade has a very special property of it, where if the character has access to an MP pool, we'll take anywhere between 14 to 19 magic out of that pool, and it will guarantee a critical hit. In SNES, you're allowed about 3 or 4. In Pixel Remaster, because you have the Japanese magic point pool, which is about 25% higher than the Western pool, it's very nice, and it's a very easy way, especially if you end up throwing like a gauntlet and an Atlas armlet, or if you don't have an Atlas armlet, a hyper wrist. Celis can output a lot of damage very quickly.
Okay, we can get through this. So I made a menu mistake here. I did not take the gauntlet off of Ed. We can still pull this off, though.
Ooh, baby!
Yeah, it's going to be YOLO, but that's what makes it exciting.
I mean, if there's no risk, there's no reward, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, nice outfit. I think I'll take it. I really love this mechanic. Oh. just the fail steal as soon as I'm like, I like this outfit that we don't have. Cool.
I don't know why.
Steal is about a 46% chance here, which makes it infuriating when you miss it like 7 times in a PB run.
Yeah, I remember the old version, you could, if you exited a specific way, you could maintain the
be a little
outfits.
Yeah, the game gets very unhappy.
That's part of the Celeste skip, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game does not handle not picking up Celeste at all. Just no.
So that right there is something that we dub the developer bridge. It allows you to, normally in this scenario, you're supposed to steal a merchant's clothes, you're supposed to steal a soldier's clothing, then steal this merchant's clothes, go give the grandfather his quote-unquote cider. But by going through that bridge, you can completely skip trying to steal an extra set of clothing.
So if we layer the clothing up, we get extra defense. Is that what we're after? 2 of these merchant suits gets a 50% reduction.
We run away slower because Locke overheats.
It's just Ralphie from Christmas Story.
He's trying to throw a smoke bomb and they just keep ending up on his feet.
This is
Where'd all the smoke come from?
This is definitely going to be an interesting tunnel armor fight.
Well, yeah, tunnel armor is intended to be like a teaching fight, right? Because it's the first place where we get to use runic, or rather, the game wants us to use Runic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Terra and Celeste have some really cool... Every character has their own little special ability. Terra is this morph, which will come into play a lot later and will make magic go burr, 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 and thick with, like, multiple Cs, at least 6. Runic, on the other hand, is more defensive and will take any magic spells and absorb it, even if you cast them on your own party. Correct?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I was kind of concentrating.
With Runic,
wasn't listening.
Dine, if you use Runic, it will absorb all spells that are cast, correct? Not just the ones targeted at your party. So, like, if for whatever we had actual spells unlocked, she would also absorb those, correct?
Yes, you're correct.
Yes. So Runic is like a double-edged sword, but if we know an enemy has a lot of magic, you could use it to defend yourself. It's pretty good casually, but not attacking is often not something you want to do, because the faster it dies, the less times it has a chance to hit us, so less chance we have to die. But we will get Celeste at the end game, so it is what it is. Too bad she doesn't have Morph, because that would make things a lot easier. Well, that may not be true. Maybe in the SNES route where you can manipulate things a little bit more.
Crypto asks a question. Does the sprint button remove any reason to get the sprint shoes? The sprint button and the sprint shoes stack. So sprint shoes is ×2, dash is ×2. When you put them together, it makes a very lovely marriage of ×4 speed.
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead, Sid.
If you enjoy controlling the game, I wouldn't get sprint shoes. But if you want to face rub against every single wall and door, feel free to grab them. For a speedrunner, we got to go fast, whether or not we scrape half of our body against the wall on the way there. And that's a different story.
As you can see, I overstep a lot of the doors. Sometimes that's just hard not to do when you're going this freaking fast.
Yeah, when I was
Especially
playing
in a room like this.
Yeah, when I was playing 5 GBA and I realized they stacked, I was like, no, thank you.
6 GBA they stacked and it was beautiful, and then with the Steam version they got rid of it. I was big sad.
Right.
Yeah, that
I need to do
probably would be like the biggest slap in the face, right? Like, then why are sprint shoes even in the game? Could you at least like just code them out so that I don't waste money on these?
It's funny in the SNES because as soon as you gain control of Tina or Terra, there's a sprint shoes where you leave Purvis's 3 steps into the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of been like the speedrunner's holy grail to be able to somehow clip through that mountain to get those sprint shoes. There's a lot of like developer items left around in the game. A lot of them you wouldn't even know they were there unless you were looking with a Lua script or something like that.
Yeah.
But many people have tried to get the early sprint shoes to make the first 20-25 minutes faster.
The first time I heard about that, I face rubbed that clip for quite a while, hoping against hope that I'd be the one. And yet I was thinking early in the randomizer, I'm like, why isn't this just like dummied in? Like just opened up right at the start of the randomizer. That would have been one of the cool things, but just giving a sprint without sprint shoes is much better.
So this cave...
Go ahead.
This cave, much like the Moogle cave and the Figaro cave where we escaped with Terra, these items upgrade the more times you go through them. So this chest, when we went through with Edgar Locke and Edgar, was a tincture. Now, because we're going through it the second time, it has transformed into a thunder rod. Thunder rods are any rod in general is pretty busted. In the SNES, it casted the tier 2 elemental spell, so Thunder Rod would cast Bolt 2 if you use it as an item and broke the rod. It would bypass Reflect, it would ignore enemy magic defense, and it would always hit the highest possible roll. In Pixel Remaster, most of those things stay true. The only thing that's changed is you no longer hit the highest possible damage value. You get the 26 steps of random damage. But in the SNES speedruns, would be using it on Tunnel Armor, and it would deal 1448 if Celes used it. In the Pixel Remaster, we'll save the Thunder Rod for the Cranes fight much later on in the run. Even though this does kind of look slow, it's still faster than trying to fight the Cranes without the Thunder Rod. That fight in any version of the game is very, very headache-inducing.
That's
That
where
was
I
still a
stopped
very
learning the
good fight.
speedrun.
That was
Right.
very, very
That
mild.
was very good without a gauntlet.
That was very mild.
So, for those of you more new gen, Bolt 2 is Thunder Rot, so it's the tier 2 spell. And like I mentioned earlier, Runic would absorb spells. I'm pretty sure in that case it would suck up the Lightning Rod or Thundering Rod if
It
we
will.
had to use it there.
There's nothing better than being like, I'm gonna one-shot murder you, and Celis is like, hello.
Yeah.
Here's my Runic.
Can't say that
Aw,
I've never done
man.
that before. Looks up and to the left as flies.
You see that a lot on Atla Weapon, because there's a very specific script in the SNES you follow, and it's so easy just to like blank out for a brief second, especially when you got the nerves going in the middle of a run.
One input too
and you're
early.
like, all right, I'm gonna murder him, and then Celis is like, hi. And you're like, well, I guess we're going back to Arvis.
Yep.
So,
And it's just a matter of not hitting one button to swap a party member.
I'm sure it's even more dangerous now with like the auto battles. So if you're like, go to menu the item and then you're like, haha, I go back to auto battles because I'm going to save some. I'm not saving any time at all.
In this route, it's not super horrible. We end up majority of the time overbuying rods. So if you end up having one oopsie, it's okay. If you end up having more than one oopsie, it could potentially be in trouble. Just because when we do a grind with Celis much later on, we don't know what encounters you'll get. So you could burn through all your ice rods and still have 6 or 7 fire rods sitting in your inventory, or you could burn through all your fire rods and have 7 or 8 ice rods sitting in there. It's a big gamble. You can get through it, obviously, at the cost of time.
So going through the party here, we have a couple of Cyan's more physical fighter. He has some gimmicks in his sword text. Normally takes a while to charge, but it seems like this version's removed it. We have Gao, no regular fights. He only has rages. There are some good ones, but it gets really hard to get other ones, so he's good at the beginning, depending on what he starts with. Edgar is tools, which are mainly physical, and then Sabin is a physical fighter with mainly magical moves. And then we have Terra and Celeste, who both have innate magic. So until we get a little bit deeper, we're not going to have any other magic spells, but Terra has fire, Celeste has ice, if I remember correctly. So it's one of those things we want to leverage, which is what we're doing right here.
And everyone knows that one of Gao's most strongest rages is Cat Scratch.
Yep.
So even if you got the Cat Scratch, if you took the time to get it, hope for it on Felt, in the World of Balance, you only really benefit from Kefka Nourish and Dataluma. You can bring Gao to the later stages, but it greatly slows them down because you're either missing out on Sabin's consistent damage with Earring to Aurabolt, or you're missing out on Edgar's AoE damage. The Cat Scratch picks back up around Kefka's tower. You can do, instead of leveling Celis, you can level up Gogo and give him the Man-Eater that will deal double damage against humanoids and kind of let him go to town for a couple of bosses, but it's not enough of a benefit to kind of consider, especially with reworking how the step route works.
So we did manage to skip that one fight. Normally, if you touch any of the soldiers, it will trigger the fight immediately, but if you can snake past them as they're taking a step forward, the game, I believe, registers them on the tile they're stepping to. So if you time it just right, you can get out of here without doing any fights at all.
Nice,
He did
Locke.
miss. He
Keep
did
missing,
miss
buddy.
anyway. I was getting ready to say, so Locke would normally be doing just shy of 300 damage, but I still don't have the gauntlet. Now, what I could have done there, I could have, instead of putting Gal in one of those parties or Terra, I could have put Ed in, and then I'd be able to switch his stuff off. But Locke tends to miss 30 to 50% of the time, I would say.
The physical evasion is even though it's only like 20-30%, is still pretty large.
I mean, considering it actually functions in this game.
Yeah. Locke misses a lot in this fight, so I wasn't too concerned about him only doing like 100-something damage. I've had many runs where he doesn't even hit him. And if he hits him twice out of 3 turns, basically we'll skip an aura bolt.
Yeah,
I guess this is something to talk about. Japanese runner of this game, Muchiha. Very, very, very good and very well respected runner. He's done a little bit of rerouting to this, and it puts a lot of leverage on the gauntleted Celis with the Atlas armlet. So you could maybe make an argument of taking out Locke or having Celis more of a damage dealing role because of the extra magic points, because her crits will deal about 500-600 damage.
Yes, absolutely.
That's pretty
High risk, high reward.
Yeah, because on turn 3, Kefka has a 33% chance to use a tier 2 spell, usually Blizzara, and then a 25% or a 20% chance to cast it on the whole party. And we're still pretty weak. We're around anywhere between like level 9 to level 12.
Yeah.
So like there's a good chance.
Kefka and Narsh is like a free fight randomizers, but not here. Not even close.
No, it's actually a lot safer, in my opinion, in the PR run using a Runic with Celis.
Yeah.
Whereas in the SNES run, we use ATB weighting and we try to beat out that third attack.
Yeah.
And if Sabin happens to take any damage in those first 2 rounds, your party will get wiped. Sabin has to be almost full health to survive.
Yeah, and even then it's a crapshoot if you get the higher 4 or 5 rolls.
Yes, absolutely.
You can keep the Mithril Shield, but losing 600 GP in the SNES run is quite hard. Losing it in this isn't too bad because we take extra encounters along the way. So once again, you can make arguments for really both ways.
It'll be interesting to see what the routing is with the boosters to cut encounters and then multiply EXP and money, because then you won't need to spend any money on smoke bombs because you can just turn it off.
So I played around with it. I'm not a big fan of boosters, but my couple plays through of Switch so far, I've kind of turned on the ×4 of everything, kind of just messed around, and it's not bad if you take it with it's just the normal fights you would grind anyway for level. Just grind for the same levels, but because you're getting ×4 on Gil and XP, it's not bad. It's pretty quick.
Randomizers kind of normalize the idea to me, and it just seems like it would be really nice in the Phantom Cave, or not, the Esper Cave with Terra, so that you can get away with doing less fights, and same thing with Celeste.
Big thing you have to worry about is not over-leveling early with Terra.
But that definitely would be its own category for sure, I would imagine, because it completely changes the
We're going to go back in real quick. A lot of times in my PB runs, I skip that elixir, but for the sake of running, kind of trying to do a marathon safe type run, we grab that.
Yeah. Can't say no to a free get out of jail card.
Exactly.
So the Narsh Storehouse has a lot of items. It's very hard to skip. It's got 5,000 cash, Reflect Ring, which sells for a good chunk, or it can be used in Zozo for safety. Thief Knife, which will give Locket some speed. Thief Bracer, which will increase the steal chance, which is very important. Hyperist, which sells for 4,000 GP. It's just got a lot of money. It's got earrings as well. It sets you up very nicely for the next leg of the game.
Yeah, so that elixir isn't like a isolated incident for whatever reason in this game. That's just kind of a gimmick. A lot of the clocks will just have elixirs in them, at least the ones that do. They don't all have them, but there are quite a few in the game.
So in SNES, Edgar would have to be the party leader to get the discount. If he was in your party but not the leader, the merchant would be like, hey, I can't take money from you, but he wouldn't give you the discount.
Yeah.
In PR, because you can randomly switch your party members with the L and R button, the game's just like, he's in the party, beautiful.
That
so
must be really...
We end up getting a 50% discount, which definitely helps a lot of this shop. We will be buying 11 Phoenix Downs, 32 Holy Waters, or I'll refer to them as Revivify because I'm a SNES boomer, and we'll be buying 20 High Potions just for healing.
My menu's a little poor here, but it's okay.
It can be like that with marathon runs when you get a little shaky. You think about it too much, and then you're like, "Wait a minute, I was supposed to do that thing."
No, it was It was just a little strange because I never unequipped Ed after that scenario.
Yeah, the gauntlet.
So I had to go back in, unequip him to get his stuff off. That way I could sell his spear.
But
The two tools we bought, the drill is a very strong physical-based tool that will ignore defense, so it's pretty much just consistent damage. Deal around low to mid 500s. The flash is a magic-based tool from the auto crossbow. The auto crossbow and the flash don't suffer from split damage. So if you're hitting more than one enemy, every enemy will take 50% damage. Since flash and auto crossbow ignore that, every enemy will take 100% damage, which makes flash very good at crowd control, which we'll be seeing coming up in a couple of segments.
Yeah, flash is one of those things I wrote off casually when I was like playing through randomizers, and I was like, wow, this is actually really good.
So you might be asking,
Go ahead.
You might be asking, why is he going up when we have to go down to Zozo? That's because he's a bad player.
Yeah.
But not only that, he's also very calculated. So up here is a hero ring in a pot, but he's really bad at hide and seek. And then, nice enough in this forest is a chocobo stable. Chocobo, we can go freshly to Zozo without worrying about any encounters. We get some downgraded music from the SNES, but it's still good. Still pretty okay.
I prefer to call it the speak and spell song.
Yep.
So that's the hero ring we were talking about earlier. Those are pretty rare and give that 25% bonus to both physical and magical, and will still stack with earrings. So it's a really, really powerful accessory, even if it's the only thing you have on. I was going to go over it earlier, but the red aura you may be noticing around Locke is from a haste ring, which is giving him haste. I don't know why, I was thinking it was a different name for some reason.
Hermes sandals.
Hermes sandals, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, it's formerly known as running shoes.
All these different names so that we can all get confused every time we talk about the
Let's
game.
say, are they called hay shoes in this? I was like, man.
It is what it says on the tin, except it doesn't. But yeah, that'll let him go like twice as fast, so we can shoot those smoke bombs super, super quick. Oh,
Yeah,
with
Locke.
a single fire.
Locke we just bring because he's a fast character. That's really his big use here in Zozo. Edgar has the reflect ring on. If we encounter a solo slam dance, they do have access to tier 2 spells.
What is this room? What is this madness?
So, funny enough with PR, for whatever reason, when you enter a room, NPCs won't start moving for like 2 to 3 seconds, which unfortunately makes the auction house unmanipulatable. I doubt it would even work that way in this version anyway. But it does make rooms like that very satisfying, because normally you have to wait for this endless kettle cave of people to walk up the Darrow hallway.
Just a
And in this you can just herp derp right by them.
Yeah. If I didn't know better, I'd say you modded your game, cheater.
I just want to point out how funny it is to me how when you use the smoke screen, it's just you throw the smokes and then there's like a couple seconds of just nothing, of just awkward, everyone just standing there, and then they run away.
Oh yeah, and they're all individual too.
It is a
so it's
very awkward little sequence, yes.
Yes.
And they never learn how to use them properly the whole run.
Right?
Yeah. Smoke bombs are such a divine intervention in this game. It makes things so much less obnoxious, just being able to pull a jail out a free card as long as you, wow, 7 went first.
Look at Sabin beating out Hermes Locke.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Fire Knuckles. Yep. So this is like one of the few ways you can get like quote-unquote access to magic, I guess. A lot of the weapons in the game and some of the mainly the weapons and armor have like special kind of hidden things, and Fire Knuckles, if you punch, will sometimes throw fire out. In this case, I believe it's just because it has a little bit of a magic boost, and like we said earlier, most of Sabin's damage comes from magic blitzes, so it's worth getting because most of his Knuckles don't have that until endgame.
The Fire Knuckle is just a very large damage increase that's used for really just one boss, but it also sells for 5,000 GP. So it's one of those things where it's a room transition, 2 room transitions, and 3 steps out of your way. It's very hard to negotiate just skipping over something like that.
Especially without like a step route where you have to like play very tight. Here it's like, I mean, I can hit harder or I can save a second.
Very nice Dataluma fight.
Yeah,
That, I was expecting something to go wrong there. That fight usually trips up a lot of people.
I guess you can do the same thing with the potion tonic skip there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I did there.
So normally if you do enough damage to him, like he'll summon the additional enemies and then spend a huge amount of time putting up protect, shell, potion, and then tonic twice, which are not short animations, but not long ones either, but it all adds up.
Yeah, the combination of like 5 animations is a lot.
And dealing extra damage, especially if you're unlucky to get the 3 potion tosses, which is 750 HP healed.
Yeah, which is probably close to a quarter of what he has, because he has a 3270.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could get multiple potions. I thought it was always programmed to be 1 potion, 2 tonic.
No, it's it randomly picks between the 3 tosses between a tonic and a potion.
That's super rude.
Yeah, 750 is pretty brutal. I mean, you're talking, that's 25% of his health back, roughly.
And then on top of that, he's got damage reduction on physical and magical at that point because of the protected shell, too.
Exactly.
So it's
which is also scary because his next turn after that, he starts, if the ads have already been called, he'll start throwing mithril knives at you. And any item that's thrown ignores defense, and he'll throw 2 of them on that turn. So it's very easy just to start losing people if that fight goes on longer than 4 rounds. A lot of these fights are looking pretty bog standard and quick, but you're really teetering that line of you're really hoping the boss's AI doesn't pick option A on like the 3rd or 4th turn, or you're really hoping these battles don't extend longer than they have to be, because it's not just looking at extra animations or going through healing times. We're really trying to skip their very scary moves.
Yeah, for the most part, the longer boss fights go on in any of these speedruns, the closer they get to their more dangerous moves, and you fastly start approaching the point of one-shottery if you don't stop them from getting there.
And that's like, on that particular fight, that's the reason for Edgar going first with Drill. So we use Edgar Drill, then we Aura Cannon Fang. It could be in any of those orders, as long as Edgar goes first. Locke doesn't do anything for that fight. After 2 drills, you can throw out Edgar Flash. You're pretty much going to be almost guaranteed, as long as you were fairly quick on your inputs, you're probably going to be fairly guaranteed for him to call out the backup. So we throw a Flash after 2 drills, which instantly kills them as soon as they come out. That way the other 2 don't miss target and not hit that Illuma.
Oh, yeah, that's right. If you input it, they'll just be like, roll a dice and hit a thing.
You can also use a little clever ATB waiting and use a 3rd drill and get a slight quicker Dataluma fight, but it's not much faster. Using the Flash is quite a bit safer.
So I mentioned earlier how Terra and Celeste were the only 2 with magic. That is now changed because we got a couple of Espers here. They're not all worth grabbing, so we're just going to leave that one behind.
Your dad sadly turned into a Tic Tac.
Rip Kieran.
I honestly, when I looked at those as a kid, I didn't see them as magic stones, but I didn't know what I was supposed to be seeing, to be honest. Just a MacGuffin. That's all it looked like. It's a thing. Here's a paperweight. It teaches you magic. Okay.
One of the beautiful things about getting access to Espers is we can finally increase our stats. So in this game, you don't get like your magic, your strength, your vigor, your speed doesn't go up with levels. That's where the levels playing into your damage formula. It gives you, it's a way in case you want to overgrind that you can still deal extra damage.
Oh, really?
So this is the point
I didn't quite realize that's how that worked.
Yeah, I was quite shocked when I found out about it.
I always knew Espers, like, the cool thing with it, that he's trying to get to is like espers will give you stat bonuses. So I'll let you finish talking about it. I'll cut you off. Go ahead, Guy.
So Ramu, I believe, gives stamina, which is a good stat because it helps against instant death attacks, but it's also a very bad stat because it also governs regen, poison, sap, and seizure damage.
Oh,
now, poison, sap, and seizure are time-based damage that happens, and poison in SNES took 8 turns to get to its maximum damage, so it would start off with 50 and then 100 and then 200 and then 300 and then 400, and it would keep going up until you hit 800. In Pixel Remaster, you instantly start off with the highest possible damage poison tick, and it works on an independent timer from the battle system. So you can actually get poison tick damage during animations.
That's a lot. I'm used to the new gen of like it's usually just 10% at most, or 1% in some cases, like when you put it on bosses.
I've watched a couple of casual players just like beef up their stamina as high as they could. I think it caps out at 128 in this. And then you see a poison tick do like 8,000 damage, and it's just like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind next time I get a stamina booster on a regen.
Yeah.
On a randomizer, so that I don't poison myself to death without realizing it. That explains a lot of my troubles.
So we stopped at the shop to grab a white dress. This is a piece of body armor for a female character that will also increase magic by +5. So with the white dress and now a Magus hat, we're now giving a character +10 to magic, which, as Sid was saying, doesn't sound like a lot. But when Terra and Cella start with 28 magic or 31 magic and you're giving them 10 more, you're effectively increasing your damage by 1/3. And then once you factor in double earrings, it's
50% on top of it turns it into a huge swing.
All right, we're coming up on a very good portion of the game. We're also close to an hour mark. Should we watch the portion or take the break first?
I'd say we do. I say we do that and then take the break.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. The other thing with espers now is each one will teach you spells at different rates. Early game is fairly weak stuff, not super quick, but relatively. A lot of the super strong ones that you would get at the end of the game are ×1, so it takes a very long time. We're not really going to go out of our way for a lot of them, but the few that we do get, some of them give +1 to magic. So we blow off leveling up until we get those, so that we can just blow enemies out of the water with spells. Because since we already have the equipment, if we start tacking on one extra magic per level, it gets pretty out of hand pretty fast.
Yeah, so Locke has Ramu, Ed has Siren. Ed has Siren not for the HP plus 10% on level up, which is kind of misleading. So you don't gain 10% of your maximum HP, you gain 10% of the HP you gain during that level. And because we're still very much level 12, getting 10% on 18 hit points doesn't really do you much good, but we're looking for him to learn the spells. Mute, Slow are the two main ones we're really concerned about. Fire is kind of nice, but not super needed. Sabin has
Sleep
Cat
also.
Oh, Sleep, yes. I knew I was forgetting one.
Status spells? What are those? Speedrunners use that?
Against, like, one boss.
Yeah. Luckily, there's that corner case every once in a while.
I'm mostly concerned about the popularity of this opera, only because like the bottom row is completely full, but when you get to like the upper deck or stuff, there's no one there. So I'm concerned about this opera.
They forgot to throw in the props.
The one thing is like what I was blown away is I saw clips of the opera and I was like, they went out of their way to do this.
They
And
spent all the budget on the opera and then worked the game around
one
it.
guy did the programming, and everybody else was working on this masterpiece.
So there's a fairly, at least in the speedrunning circles, there's a fairly well-known glitch hunter. He calls himself Eddie, and he's found pretty much every usable glitch in the speedrun, and a lot of them that aren't even speedrun usable, probably in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, every time I see a routing stream, it's watching his video and then recreating it.
He's beaten the game in 1,536 steps with 7 different parties, 3 of them in the world of balance, 4 of them in the world of ruin. He's found out how to beat the game in 8 seconds using the 52 death glitch. He created the New Game Plus route that you've probably seen from GDQ 2019 with NIRM.
This game has basically been broken open by him single-handedly, and we've reverse engineered everything.
And he even broke Pixel Remaster very, very well by abusing the quick save, quick load options. Him starting off with level 99 characters, and then also because of having saves in certain spots in the game, he can just randomly warp around the world and bypass story flags.
I'm having Yuffie warp flashback to Final Fantasy VII PC. Oh,
A common theory of this: the game got pushed back because, just judging by his Twitter posts, that Square gave him a copy to have him play test, and that was one of the reasons why it got pushed back.
Oh, that's so nice.
Too strong for any developer to contain. They had to go back and fix it.
It's interesting for me, and I'll quickly stop, but there are people in chat who apparently have seen this for the first time, and you're in for a treat.
Yes, this is my favorite thing about the Pixel Remaster, especially in Italian.
This is beautiful.
It is amazing
I'm
in
crying
Italian.
A little here, a little bit misty.
And they put a real nice touch, giving it kind of the Octopath Traveler graphics.
Yeah.
But better.
I honestly never expected this, but when I saw it, I thought I was like watching a mod or something of the game. I was like, that can't be the vanilla release, right? This is somebody modded this in. It's just mind blowing. How nice it looks. Misses something without MV singing the opera, but can't have it all, can we? This is something like with a randomizer running rampant as it is. A lot of people don't see this anymore unless the flag set actually rewards you for doing it, because it's, what, 4 or 5 minutes?
It's a bit longer than that. It's a pretty good chunk.
Shh, quiet time. Let chat enjoy this.
Yeah.
Now we can talk for a little bit.
I was gonna say,
I did not realize that was voice acting.
Oh, I thought it was
My
1, 2,
bad.
3, 1, 2,
Sorry.
3 time.
Yeah. I didn't mean to be rude. Just be like, everyone
No,
shut up.
that's fine. I needed to shut up. That was wonderful.
No, it's the opera. If you've never seen it, especially with it being voice acted, it's especially because a lot of new people in chat. It sucks when you're into it and then someone's just.
Yeah, I never thought Square would bother to voice act that in a game this old, so it didn't even cross my mind. That is okay. Now I'm 100% convinced. All of the work and all the money went to that and nothing else. You need to find the perfect Celeste, no matter the cost.
like in each version, a different language is just so amazing.
I believe they had the same singer for all different languages too.
Wow.
It's absolutely amazing in Italian.
And they get more voice acting here, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
Insolent rogue, knave of the western hall, you would address my queen to be Maria. Monsieur, you have Maria's hand. I would die before that day comes. Then it's a duel.
We decided to do a day one race of this when it dropped. Horrible idea.
Oh, man.
But it was B-Dude, a very well-known, very well-respected six runner, got here first, and he popped off pretty hard. Just none of us expected it to be voice acted, and especially because we didn't really follow much of the publicity for it, because we wanted to go in as blind as possible. And it was a very, very draining run, but the opera made it worth it for sure. And it's one of the things, in my opinion, the PR does very, very well. It has breathed a lot of new life into something that was so iconic for the game, because everyone knows about the opera scene when you're talking about Final Fantasy VI. The googly eyes.
Game never stops. There's no off on this train. It's just yes. Or toot.
I'll be here all day.
Coming up
I'll
in the
see myself
Raptors,
out.
we gave Sabin the Firearmlet, Gigas Glove, and Hyper Wrist. Sabin is going to be becoming a physical attacker just for this small segment, using Cat Sith because there is 5 enemies here, and it will confuse them if the game chooses so. And because they're confused, magic attacks don't break them out of it. Only physical attacks will. So it does make the 5-pack quite a bit easier, especially because a lot of attacks can
I
get
was just
out of
about to
hand.
say there's a gimmick that we're
Yeah.
not triggering, and the game decided to show you. Yeah, if you don't get rid of the gold ones quickly enough, it'll resummon the regular rats.
Ooh,
So you
bad
gotta
luck.
be very careful. That doesn't get any extra EXP or anything, right?
You get a little bit for them rejoining, no, but you get extra experience just from 5 versus 3.
Oh, okay.
But because magic points are also tied to the encounter, the game's weird like that. Like, one enemy can be worth 2 magic points, but 3 enemies of the same kind can be worth 1 magic point.
Oh, no.
What is this luck?
I'm getting damage rolled.
Unfortunate.
It's damage rolls. It's okay though.
So we are looking to fight 4 of these ideally. Sometimes you can fight 3, then fight an extra encounter in the Mage Tech Research.
Because at this point, like, the really big sticking point is learning specific spells from specific espers on specific people.
In my
correct?
PB, I actually fought only 1 or 2. but I got optimal encounters.
Wow, man.
Just make sure
So-
everything's cool with level. Or
Ultros is weak to fire, and if you hit the enemy from their backside, you also do an additional damage. So an elemental weakness is double damage, and hitting an enemy from the back is double damage.
Oh, so that's why they melt this fight.
So what we're going to do is have Lock attack Ultros to have them switch sides, and then Sabin's going to punch him in the back and deal about 800 damage. Ultros has around 2300 HP. There is kind of a gimmick in this fight, is where when he changes positions on the opera field, not like turning left and right, but he'll actually move to different spots. He ends up getting an HP refill. So this happens up to 4 times. So if you don't kill him fast enough, you end up seeing Flash Rain, Imp Spell, a lot of Tentacle, which ignores defense. Once again, a lot of abilities you don't want to see. And then Drill, we don't care, it's just there for damage. But you can just see Sabin in that one attack did half of Ultros' HP. Nice proc. That was... Even Locke died. Like, this is a perfect fight.
I got worried there for a second. I was like, is that supposed to happen? Because I don't think that's supposed to happen.
Lock dying is not the worst thing, especially getting that fire proc, because it pretty much guarantees the kill unless you get low rolled. Worst case, you would just throw out another drill and it'd be done. And hope you don't get a double tentacle. There is always the risk that if he party-wide tentacles that side, he could possibly kill both. I'm not sure that he necessarily will, though, for the most part, on most rolls, because of back row. Which is making him do about half damage.
By the way, kidnapping is not cool, guys. Let's not do that.
It's true. That is very true. Kidnapping is not cool.
Very Final Fantasy. This might be socially unacceptable, but it seems right. A little bit of catfishing never hurt nobody.
Let's see. So we're about to land on a new continent. That would probably be the good time to take the break if you guys
Yeah,
want.
I was about to say, yeah.
Looks like it's been pretty solid overall, besides Toot Toot being Toot Toot.
Honestly, I'd still call that average. Phantom Train, it's got a weird AI script where there's only 2 people in battle. It's 100% chance for Diabolical Whistle. So you're guaranteed to see the attack, but it's just which status effects land is the random part.
Yeah. And then
In
the
PR,
downside was
he
you went
actually
into-
doesn't do it all the time on the first try. A lot of my runs, he's done like a double wheel.
Interesting.
So I don't know what changed with the script, but in PR
Maybe
it
it
tends
had
to not
something to do
really
with
be
the-
100%. He does it a lot of. Don't get me wrong, but I've had many runs where he's just done like a double physical attack on me.
Oh, they
Usually
might have
wheels.
gotten rid of the conditionals like they did for like Atma Weapon or
That could be.
like Atma Weapon Air Force 128, things like that.
May have been the stone on Cyan that triggered it.
Yeah, you never know.
The devs put in all sorts of weird catches and clauses, and you're just like, what?
A lot of the
Oh, so I get
a lot of the
punished?
AI
Cool.
acts weird in this run sometimes.
So one of the things that we're going to start doing from like here on out is every once in a while shuffling around the espers as well, so we get certain spells. But we want to commit to specific espers that give bonuses that we want. That's basically our way of powering up.
The way they
And
did
there's-
this is just phenomenal as well.
Yeah.
It's very smooth.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with
unlike
the SNES run, this is a very smooth scene.
Mode 7 eye burning.
Well, we'll get into that here in just a little bit.
I swear the train car is just as blurry as the poison effect.
The train car and
It's
Steam
pretty
version
good
was
in this.
immaculate. That's like one of the best things about that version.
All right,
That's where all the
coming up
money
here when
went.
it fades in, I would call time. Time.
All right. Now we're not done. We take a small little break, just so you all are very much aware. Do not forget that your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily speed running content. And do not forget, Summer Games Done Quick 2023 schedule is now out. Head on over to gamesdonequick.com or use !SGDQ in chat for more information. Like I said, we're going to take a small break. It's a great opportunity to get up, stretch, get some water, hydrate, use the restroom, etc. And we'll be right back with more continuation of Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster. Hello and welcome back to the Barkin Bin here on the GDQ Hotfix. I'm still your host, Midnight Vesper. Real quick before we get into this, do not forget Summer Games Done Quick 2023 coming up May 28th to June 4th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you're interested in attending the event, registration is now open until May 3rd. Head on over to gamesdonequick.com for more information. And do not forget that after this, here at the top of the hour is going to be our beautiful tiny tree fort. That's what I was trying to say. That'll be coming up here at 10 o'clock. Don't worry. The top of the hour. We're going to continue this 2 weeks. We're going to go on to the top of the hour. I'll finish this. We'll go on to the top of the hour. We'll do Try and Tree Fort, and then we'll continue the rest of Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster in 2 weeks from now. But for now, let's continue on with this. This is Nightshade, take it on over.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, timer.
I had that all scripted out and everything, and my mind just completely threw it away.
Too much focus. It's like the don't hit a tree. All of a sudden, you just hit the tree.
Got a turn coming up on the left in this
How many
racing
did I end
game.
up with there?
Immediately
40?
turns right.
I can
You're
deal
not
with
buying
40.
warp stones?
I did.
Oh,
You missed it, sir. I was just that
Too
fast.
Menu
I
is
was
so
just that
fast.
fast.
I got confused. Oh no. We're in the speed zone right now.
I do that every time.
Dialogue? I like dialogue.
I run my
read good.
I run my sticks for the text just because twirling the sticks is like super quick. And if you do it a little too long when you get an option like that, that's what happens.
Excuse me? Did you just say you can mash through dialogue rubbing through the sticks?
Yeah,
What?
just twirling sticks.
What is this cursed tech? What? I'm so used to mashing buttons.
It was great in Secret of Mana 2018 because you could mash text by holding the space bar. So you could just put your controller on top of it and disappear for a couple of minutes without a problem. So in the Meiji Tech Research Facility, not only does it have amazing music, it also has quite a few good weapons that will end up boosting Celis's and Terra's magic later on. The Thunderblade is a thunder-based physical sword that gives +2 to magic. Flame Tongue is the same, but it's fire. So this all kind of boils down to you got the Flame Tongue or Thunderblade, Magus Hat, and White Dress. You end up getting +12 to magic. And we're really just going to hammer this home because every point of magic is roughly about 80 damage.
If you've ever played a randomizer and been like, oh, well, why would I wear an enhancer? Then you put it on and cast the spell. The amount of damage difference you will see will be massive.
I'm looking for a particular encounter here, which doesn't look like I'm getting it. I have one more shot at it. I don't have to have my spells just yet. I just have to have them before the boss after the one I'm about to fight. But I'm looking for a certain encounter that's a one-round encounter. It's just faster. Did they fix this boss?
The Shiva Ifrit fight, is it fixed or
it can? It's fixed. Ifrit, if he decides to party blaze you, can pretty much just wreck your day, and there's nothing you can do about it. So we're hoping we don't see a party-wide blaze.
So what they're talking to is when you fight Ifrit and Shiva on the SNES, they have a no-run flag, meaning you can't run away from them. But if you hit Ifrit with 3 magic attacks or 5 fire attacks,
Physicals.
yeah, physicals. Sorry, the AI script tells him to teleport. Either if you hit him with 5 physicals, Ifrit will teleport to Shiva. If you hit him with 3 magic, he'll teleport closer, cast fire 3, and then teleport back. During that teleportation
did you
window,
really?
Oh no!
auto battle mishap.
I think the imp messed up the order. Because I had already chose the flash with Edgar, so
I
he
know what you're going
should
for.
he should have
Yeah.
attacked.
So that's
You had a
unfortunate.
remedy.
I don't think I have a green
or a
cherry.
green
I'm gonna have to
cherry.
use. Yeah,
You did get a remedy earlier.
yeah, I have 2. I don't particularly want to use one
wanna
here,
use
but
it, yeah.
sometimes it just happens that way.
But when
Oh,
they go
also-
through the
I don't know if y'all have been talking about that, but when you go into menus, there's a right and a left hand. Does that affect character design in terms of like someone's stronger because they're left-handed?
no, it's you
Not
can
in
put a
this
sword on
particular
left or
one, no.
right, and it doesn't matter. It's not like kind of like I think Final Fantasy IV did something like that. where-
And
yeah.
Final Fantasy 2 did as well.
Yeah, because I believe the final character you get into is ambidextrous, and I want to say Guy is left-handed. Same thing with Kane in 4. So if you swap his hands, it'll mess things up. And then it also affects like the back row glitch with the arrows, but that's a lot more. The games can be weird. I didn't realize handedness didn't matter in this game, though. That's weird that they bothered to put it in, but not code it.
I wonder if that
Yeah,
was.
so-
I wonder if that was like on the table, and then just for reasons it just got thrown out. Left alone.
I mean,
Oh, that's
Oh,
it
no.
may not
That's
have
rough.
Oh boy, it may not have worked in the original version. There was so much stuff that didn't work properly, so they may have just thought it was intentional and left it be.
FF6 was a very ambitious game, and I'm kind of biased when I say this, but it feels like a game out of love.
we're okay
so-
here.
The game was originally supposed to end on floating continent.
Oh,
and
really?
The game developers were actually ahead of schedule, so they moved a bunch of the World of Balance assets into the World of Ruin. That's why World of Ruin ended up being a bunch of short stories, kind of, after you end up getting the Falcon, instead of just one long story, kind of like the World of Balance.
Oh.
And by adding in all the extra material, they kind of started running out of time. So their play test was very, very rushed to meet the release date. So they kind of overstretched a little bit, and it was one of the reasons why everything ended up like a buggy mess, like Science Dispatch destroying the physical evasion formula. A lot of the glitches were left back in. The only one they really patched was the sketch glitch, because that was something people were running into just playing the game normally, because it is pretty easy to trigger.
It's game breaking, like in a negative and a positive way. We can do a lot with it glitch wise, but it can ruin a casual player when they run into it. And if you're trying to use Realm for some reason, it's a pretty bad punish.
You have to be pretty unlucky for the sketch glitch to ruin, like destroy anything. I think out of the
Oh, yeah.
8,000 molds, I think like 5 of them will corrupt your SRAM, but you can just pop the battery out. But in the early 90s, you really wouldn't know
Yeah.
about that.
It does a lot of funky stuff, and it would definitely scare somebody casually, because you don't really, when you're younger like that, you don't realize how coding works and stuff. It's like, oh well, turn it off, turn it back on, it'll be fine.
This is going to be a little interesting because I don't have sleep, so bear with me here.
Blind stopped Strago from learning lores in the SNES. That's the only thing Blind Status did. Because he couldn't see the spells.
I'm going to slow this fight down a little bit since I don't have sleep.
So normally this is the one boss we would use sleep for. Number 24 will counterattack, or has a 33% chance to counterattack. After 30 seconds of in-game battle, if he's awake, he will change his elemental resistances and weakness. There is a faster strat if you get the Pearl weakness, because Aura Bolt is Pearl or Holy. It ends up dealing like 900 damage, 1,000 damage.
I think we're okay here.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, nice.
I was hoping I had one more second to say, can we talk about that outfit?
Nope, he's already gone.
Sleep
Closed.
not
Aw.
needed.
Yeah.
It's just
The
like
big
fire
problem
in it.
here, I'm not going to have slow for 128.
Oh, no.
It's-
You could do IF.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need slow till later, really. I can get past 128 without it. It's a little
Yeah.
preferable to have, but we'll take that bridge when we cross it here in just a minute.
You could always do Seer in here and then a couple of Cactuars
Yeah.
for Doom.
But yeah.
Oh no, you need Doom for Tentacles. That would require
Yeah,
floating
nah,
cotton grinding.
it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I usually end up with Doom by the time Atma's done, or like
Normally-
just after, so it shouldn't really be a big issue.
We'll blow up grabbing Espers if we don't need them. Here, they just give them to us, so we take them. With a song in our heart and a smile on our face, at least I didn't have to go pick it up off the floor.
The big
And-
thing is here, I just need to learn slow, but I'll still put Kato on for this. Just to
There's
make
a
sure
lot
I
of-
learn the get credit for Doom and everything.
This is where a lot of the long stage planning comes into play. Shoat or Cobbletos. I don't know the correct pronunciation.
I don't think any of us
teach-
do.
The stone Esper that stones enemies.
Yeah.
Easy.
So we're looking for Edgar to learn Doom before the end of World of Balance. Doom is taught at ×2 speed. And there's a lot of parts where coming forward in the middle section of the game where Edgar's just not going to be in the party. Modwin is another excellent Esper. It teaches all tier 2 elemental spells at ×3. It also has the nice bonus of magic power +1, which will be the big carry for the rest of the game.
Is it weird that I think Sid is channeling their inner Wes Anderson with that outfit?
I've never had it put that way before.
I mean, as a kid, I always thought he was like a duck or something.
All right.
It's like,
So
What?
we're all in for a treat here because without having slow, we are pretty much doing a YOLO 128 fight. So this could
I like
go
how
one
they
of two
put the-
ways, is
Yeah.
what I'm
did they put a
saying.
recovery bucket down here?
We win or we don't.
We'll see.
Hold on, was that a recovery bucket they added there?
Yeah,
next to the
Yes,
point?
but it's
It's the
unneeded.
soft stop blocks.
I mean, yeah, I'm just like that's more mercy than I expected from
Oh
Square.
yeah, it's really not needed, but yeah, like Dine said, it's pretty much to stop soft locks.
They threw him in a couple of places. Before Ultros 1, they threw him in before Ifrit in the save room.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense because if you don't know to buy tents as a new player, you get a little bit spoiled on some of
It's-
the newer systems.
It is a little bit kind of misleading too. This can be a very big difficulty spike depending on how you're set up and which characters you bring. Like especially if you don't know about Edgar's tools or how the relics work with the damage formula and that, it's very easy to bring like Gao and Cyan here for an instance. And then if you don't have any really good rages with Gao, and then the other downside about Gao is you're really hoping he uses the good attack of the rage.
I gotta
So-
say, go ahead.
And the boss coming up here, 128, has some very deadly attacks, and he also has 2 arms that can do attacks as well. In the SNES version, there was an attack called Red Feast, which would damage you and heal him. In Pixel Remaster, it does the same thing, but it also ignores defense. And you can only cast Espers in battle once. So we'll be using Phantom because Red Feast is a physical-based ability, and the Vanish status will make you unable to get hit by physicals, but it will be removed once you get hit by magic. So he can use Atomic Ray, he can use Magitek Laser, he can use the Ice Spell, Shim Sham, all of that will remove it.
Yeah, Phantom is a really interesting thing that I don't think a lot of casuals even realize how it functions. It's super busted if you know where to use it, but it will punish you really hard if you just throw it out in random places. Especially in the final towers. Not the final tower, but the
All right,
statue
here we
fights.
go. I believe this is the fight. Oh, no, we do have
Nope,
one more.
I got one more.
Nope.
I guess I got- okay.
The lead up and the letdown.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if that was 4 or 5. We get 5
I was-
encounters here, so this
The
is the
mode
5th.
said was 7 was so good, he forgot how many encounters he got through. Just lost track. Wow, this is great. It's just oof. You watch enough of the SNES speedruns, or you do enough yourself, you're just like, well, and you take for granted, and then you realize how good this was, and it's like, they didn't need to do this, but they did need to do it.
I'm going to use more ATB weighting just because I don't have slow. And I'm a little concerned about that.
It's a little bit of a YOLO strat. You're hoping that Cobble Toss petrifies the 2 arms. When this happens, number 128's first action is supposed to be to haste himself, which will give him a 50% ATB regeneration bonus. And it also affects how fast the arms regenerate as well. Now you kind of want, it's not ideal to have an arm alive because Sabin could potentially target it with Aura Bolt.
I think this
But it
fight's
is
going to
also
go pretty well here. I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's also kind of nice because you stop a lot of his scary moves like Atomic Ray, Net, Shim Sham. So this is...
Yep. I gotta say, the target indicator is pretty awful, because you really can't tell much of a difference
Oh,
when
he
you're
had
on
to
the
hit
left or the
Ed.
center.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, goodness.
Our reliable
Sabin,
damage
Sabin's going rogue.
Come on, Locke.
Oh, no.
Sabin,
Oh,
please.
nice.
You're the thief.
I knew he had to be
stealing his
close.
life away.
I knew he was close. I just didn't know how close.
Close enough.
Vanish status does remain after battle. Coming up, because of the cutscene, it kind of removes it for the Cranes fight. But most of the time, Vanish will persist until something removes it off of you.
You're either getting hit by a spell or, like you said, a cutscene cleansing it.
So this coming up is one of the most changed fights from the SNES to the Pixel Remaster. That Thunder Rod we picked up a little over an hour ago. We're going to be using it to pretty much one-shot a crane. And these are one of the few enemies in the game that are weak to water, which is where Bismarck comes into play, because Bismarck is water element. So even though we have Sabin with the old mighty Aura Bolt, Bismarck will deal about 1,200 damage, I think it is, because of a single target.
I can't remember exactly what it does, but it does a lot.
It
With
was
with high rolls, a Choco Bop and a Bismarck alone can kill the left crane.
Yeah, the cranes are weird, right? One of them absorbs fire and the other one absorbs lightning.
Yeah, so
too.
the left one absorbs lightning and the right one absorbs fire.
There is also a weird quirk in Pixel Remaster where you can hit the enemy with a holy attack like Aura Bolt, but because Sabin has the Fire Knuckle, it procs the fire charge. Goodbye,
Okay,
Setzer.
so he
Oh,
died.
no.
That's not the
I hope you
best
didn't
thing in
want
the world,
spots,
but
but you're
it
not
should be
getting
fine.
So you can see the Thunder Rod just absolutely destroying the right crane.
I think the game is requesting a no
This is
spots
a reason
run.
also it is about 1,200 damage. He got Thundared. So I had the Flame
All right.
Tongue on lock, which was supposed to do damage to the left one because it does not absorb thunder. But it decided it was going to bolt to Lock and say bye-bye.
Locke, the person you really want to live through 128 in Cranes is Edgar, because it's 9 magic points, which is a fifth of what we need for Edgar to learn Doom. If he dies during them, because it is a random fight, especially the Cranes, with it being a pincer attack, back attacks dealing double damage, counter attacks, the whole shebang.
There's no like EXP funneling when the other characters die, right? It's the same.
No, If an enemy's worth 1,000 experience and 4 people are alive, each character will get 250. Where if someone dies, then each of them will get 333. If 2 people die, 2 people get 500.
So in some cases, it is actually like it's the same thing as running away.
Yeah, it's the same concept as when you run.
Okay.
Bosses don't give experience; they only give AP, GP, and items. So having people dead in a boss fight, you're really just losing the AP.
Gotta love the extra Esper flashing because we didn't bother picking it up, and we're not picking it up this time either. But I really don't think they expected you to just leave it there. It's quite obvious. Just leave all of them there. All 4 of them are flashing at the same time. Plus
you have to grab Ramu to progress the story, but you can leave the other 3 there up in the north. Because Celis or whoever isn't in the party won't spawn until you grab them.
Oh, okay. Then this little flashback cutscene backstory.
This is one of the things I've always considered like a snooze fest in the speedrun.
Agree.
I think like 12 dialogue boxes would have covered everything.
It's
or at least have a fight with Modwin. Like, this is just random walking around.
It's cool, like, casually, but, like, the second time you play through the game, you're just like, I know, thank you. It's like, that's the one thing I like about the General Leo stuff, even if it is a glorified cutscene, at least you get a fight with him. Get some screen time.
And it raised so many rumors on how to revive him.
Now, if only we could pilfer all of his gear. Gotta say, Shock is actually a really cool ability, too. It's unfortunate you don't get to use it in a normal playthrough.
Gao's Retainer Rage will use Shock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's about the only other instance you'll see of it.
It's a pretty nice ability. It ignores magic and then does, like, magic damage, or ignores magic defense and does magic damage to everything. It's one of those cool ones where you find it in a randomizer and you basically have a crutch to carry you through the rest of the game. Yo, space glimmer baby.
One of Leo's offerings is or relics is the offering or the Master Scroll, as it's retranslated. It reduces all physical damage by 50%, but if you use the fight command, you can hit 4 times. There are a couple of weapons in the game that ignore that damage reduction. Valiant Knife, Atma Weapon are two common weapons you'll see with Locke. Atma Weapon will deal the most damage when Locke is at full HP. Valiant Knife will deal more damage the lower HP Locke has. So it's kind of, you're balancing yourself for both worlds.
Yeah. And they usually would double dip with Genji Glove to get 8 swings, but that requires having multiple of those weapons, so it's not something you commonly run into unless you go out of your way to spelunk on a randomizer. And I don't think there's any situation where you could make that happen casually without glitches.
I know that someone else said that looking at Sid, they thought Sid was a duck. I always thought Gestal was a dog.
Yes. Emperor Puppy Dog.
That is Emperor Dog. We affectionately know him as Emperor Dog.
Yeah, it was like that rain. I was like, why is he in a raincoat? Is he a duck or something? I've never worn a raincoat indoors. What is this man doing?
He's always prepared.
He's ready for the weather regardless.
It's when the sprinkler system busts.
Growing up, when I was young and used to play this when it was new, I used to think he looked like a hot dog.
I could see that. Yeah, the old sprites weren't bad, but they definitely looked really, really goofy if you didn't look at them just right with your eyes squinted. I think that was like the worst part about the first mobile port is they just like, this sprite looks cool. What happens if I make it look awful? No, that's what happens.
Yeah, the iOS Steam port has like 4 different art styles for everything. It's very confusing, but for the additional content, I would much rather play that over the GBA version.
The one cool thing about it is like the portrait art that they use is really nice. And like, these additional cutscenes are just so much better.
Yeah, also the map.
Yeah, the map is really handy, especially for first-time players. Because I remember just flying around aimlessly, being like, "Is this where I need to go?"
That map doesn't help me in a randomizer, so I'm not sure how it works out for casual players. I still don't know where I'm going, and I've played this at least 20 times. Doomgaze, that's the only thing I can find consistently.
The sprites look a lot better. There was an update about 6 months after the game. This game was like extremely bright on the eyes. And then they did an update to all the sprites. They added a little bit more color. They toned down the brightness so they didn't look so flushed out. And it was, in my opinion, like a very good move for the game because it just made the characters pop that little bit more. Because even though they added more color to it, it had less definition.
Yeah. So they all have like the super bright, they kind of all end up blending in regardless.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of contrast can go a long way. It may look like a pretty wild idea to go with a two-person party, but like we were just talking about a second ago, you can drastically increase the EXP you put in one person's pocket by cutting down your party. So we're going to be getting a lot of EXP and funneling it straight into Terra's pocket. And Locke's going to do what a thief does best by running away.
Tina is level 11. I think she rejoins in with this version. We're going to be giving her the Modwin sprite. In the SNES version, we would be able to manipulate the auction house by watching the NPC movement. The NPC value in the SNES version governs quite a few things in the game, and it's very easily manipulatable. Because it's completely random, Zone Seek gives +2 magic on a level up. Modwin gives +1. So we decided to go with Modwin just because we already have it, and there's been a couple of runners when Zone Seek was in the route, especially at the very early stages of the routing. There were some people that lost 15, 18 minutes trying to get Zone Seek.
The auction house is a cursed event, and if you're going there, you're in for a bad time. I don't care if you get good RNG, it's still a bad time.
So this is where the holy waters come into play. All the enemies we'll be fighting, the Zombones and the outcasts, are zombies. So we'll be having, on three encounters, we'll be having 2 of the characters throw holy water. Locke runs away. Tara gets 2,000 experience. On 2 enemies, Tara will throw 1, Locke will run away, because characters can only run away if they've met the run check and have full ATB. So within 10 or 11 fights, we'll be getting our level 11, level 12 Tina to 21.
Oh, can you not just jump over tiles like you could in the original ones?
No, they changed the bridge pathing in this.
Oh, that's sad. It was so nice to just... Nope, I'm just going to hold right here, and it works. It just Bethesda's.
I forgot that happens on a... yeah. So if you get a side attack like this, or a back attack, it doesn't actually... it's not where you can just mash and hit the holy water on the enemy. You'll hit it on yourself.
I mean, it's fine. She's blessed now, so the RNG is perfect.
Tara also has, since we have her back in the party, she has access to her special ability, which is Morph. Morph is its own separate ATB, which is increased by the amount of AP you learn in battle. Once you've gained 8 AP, you have access to Morph. Morph universally doubles all damage she does and reduces all magic damage by 50%. A lot of casual players would put Genji offering Illumina, Lumina Ragnarok on Terra, and then Morph, because Morph would get rid of that 50% damage cut from the offering / Master Scroll.
Oh, I didn't even think of that interaction. Wow.
So Terra can end up being a very good physical or magic dealer, especially with the Morph, and it's very easy to cap out. Once you've gained 128 AP, you have maximum duration. It sounds like a lot, but there are a lot of enemies in the World of Ruin that will give 5 to 10 AP a battle and are very quick. And you're just gonna, in a casual playthrough, you're just gonna naturally gain or grind for spells anyways.
Yeah, the AT, just the length of it sounds like it would be long enough, but when you're doing longer fights, like Kefka, it can run out. It's a really good thing in randomizer, but if I remember correctly, we don't grab her anymore in the routes, like,
No.
not for a long time.
It's, in the World of Ruin, it's very, very lengthy situations of event.
Yeah.
We have to go to Mobliz, go through a cutscene, fight Fumbaba, go through another cutscene, leave Mobliz, go through a cutscene, fight Fumbaba, fight him again after that, go through a cutscene, and then we get her. But it's also, they got rid of the party getting re-averaged in the World of Ruin, so no one gets free levels. Everyone stays at their natural levels. Mog and Gogo will get average party level because we've never recruited them.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I never even realized they did that in the OG version.
So Terra joining World of Ruin at like level 22, even though she might have a little bit of morph, it's not worth the time. She doesn't have any spells that are really gonna speed anything up through the 7 or 8 minutes of trying to get her.
Yeah. Between Celeste and Rods, you're pretty much set.
Yeah.
Kind of a shame, because Morph is probably like one of the best abilities in the game, if not the best.
Yeah, the old characters in Esper's route abuses Terra Morph, even though she's 16 levels lower than Celis and about 30 magic lower, the Morph ability closes that gap very quickly.
Ooh.
And this is a perfect reason why we cast Phantom.
Yeah.
Answer the questions with the randomizer. Like, you can just toggle in the ship whether you're in the World of Ruin or World of Balance. So it's open, and you can play it and have it like story beats with characters or controlled by characters, or you can just do whatever you want whenever. So like, you can go do this area if you have Terra, or you can set it so that you can just wander over here regardless who's in your party. It's a pretty fun experience, but it requires a lot more game knowledge because you have to know about the different accessories, weapons, because there's some that are very powerful but just aren't worth the effort in a speedrun, or just impossible to get a hold of.
We are coming up to Vector here after this cutscene and a short walk. We will be basically at our stopping point.
I was just about to ask, so.
Yeah.
Just give it 3, 2, 1.
So
We still have a
gained-
few minutes.
So Terra's gained 10 levels under Modwin, which is plus 10 to magic. And then with the Flame Tongue, Thunderblade, Ice Brand, whatever you give her, out of those 3, because they all boost magic by 2, Magus Hat and White Dress, even though she's still pretty low level, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Because you're kind of gaining damage on 2 fronts. You're gaining the level multiplier for damage, but you're also gaining the stat multiplier as well.
Spin it X. Never mind, the joke's dead.
I have 1 shot and I fumbled.
Where's that bag? It's on my floor. Ugh. Her being vanished just like messed with my brain. I was like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
Did Kefka just turn invisible?
That fight's kind of funny in SNES because it disables the L and R buttons, so you can't run or you can't page down or page up quickly in the menu, but it still allows you to run away from the fight. So throwing a smoke bomb or a warp stone is a little bit faster than attacking them just because you skip the text.
Dialogue, yeah.
They kind of learned and disabled that, so we kind of just gotta smack Kefka once and call it a day.
They watched one too many speedruns and ruined our fun. There is a lot of treasure here, but we can't grab it until after the banquet, right?
Correct.
Yeah, if you meet a certain point score.
Okay, that's what I thought, because randomizer spoils and scatters your brain. You think, oh, well, I got Terra. I can go in there and take all the things.
Yeah, depending on how you perform at the banquet, you unlock more and more things. Which we're going for pretty much close to the highest score you can get for a certain item, but that will come next time.
On a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Love it. Perfect time for that. Everybody's mad. There's apparently magic beings roaming the earth. No, magic has not existed for centuries. And time. See you guys later.
All right. While this cutscene's playing, we will continue the rest of Final Fantasy VI here in 2 weeks. We will have the rest of it coming up then. Coming up here in a little bit at the top of the hour, once I said, is going to be Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu with, the show is Tiny Tree Fort. In the meantime, before we leave, Nightshade and commentators, where can runners follow you?
My Twitch is I'm_Nightshade.
You can go ahead, Dine.
Oh, you can find me at Dine_Nuatari.
And mine's the_Sid_. I do remake stuff mainly, so none of this old nonsense.
All right. Well, thank you all so very, very, very much. I think we'll wait till the save point.
Oh, thank you for having us. This
Yes,
is
absolutely.
always fun to show off FF6 to a new crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for having me, Nightshade. It was pleasant.
And don't forget, we'll finish this in 2 weeks. So, but once again, thank you all so very, very, very much. Just wait for the save point to get it all taken care of, and then we'll switch things on over.
Holding up the show. Got to show off the Chocobo one last time.
Got to get that done ahead of time. Can't let them see the swagger. As soon as we start, they might just go wild. The nice
And time.
All right. We'll find a save, and we'll have it there. We'll see you all in 2 weeks with the remaining Final Fantasy VI. But don't worry, coming up here in just a little bit is Tiny Tree Fort. Now's a great time to get up, stretch, do all that fun jazz. And of course, do not forget, Summer Games Done Quick schedule is out now. Head on over to gamesdonequick.com or use !Summer Games Done Quick in chat. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, head on over to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern, weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. We will see you all later. Till then, have a wonderful evening. And stay tuned for Tiny Tree Fort.